Hello, everyone. Well, it's here, episode 40, and welcome, Delboy. And thank you for coming on again. Um, yeah, it's always a great pleasure to have you on.
No, no, no.
Um,
Thank you so much, and sorry for the lateness. It is my fault. Unfortunately, um, I have been getting more and more tired. The longer I've been working at work, and I set my alarms differently yesterday, and managed to change my sleep pattern yesterday. But it's sleep deprivation that basically has made me tired all of today, and I forgot to
mm,
set the alarm for like I normally do at 7:30. It went off at 7 and I dropped off to sleep again.
yeah.
And this is what I was trying to explain to everybody. It's the worst thing in the world is not realizing you've dropped off to sleep. You could be watching
Mm,
a film, it could be
yeah.
anything. And of course, when I woke up and I realized what the time was, I had to check on my mum, and she's okay, but her memory forgets her to also check on me to see if I'm awake or asleep or not. She was
Mm,
in the middle of watching Coronation Street, oblivious,
yeah.
oblivious totally that her son has fell asleep again. And that's the issue. I am seeing a doctor in the next 2 weeks. So of course I'm hoping that all of this changes my fortune a little bit,
Mm,
because I'm okay. It's just if I could just control the sleep part. And of course I had a very big physio session yesterday, so
yeah.
of course that
Mm,
tired me out as well. But I'm hoping you're okay, and I'm hoping everybody's okay. Um, and please blame me. It's all
yeah.
my fault. I do
I,
apologize.
I'm just waiting for Friday and the blooming central heating system to be finally repaired. As you can see, I'm all still feeling cold. But
It's this Friday, isn't it? Is
yeah,
it this
Friday,
Friday?
thank blooming heavens for
Yeah.
that. Anyhow, I'll just get on what I normally say is what have you been watching
Yeah, it's
this week?
I'm at the moment. There's still very little coming through in the post for me to talk about. I did in my blog start my trailers up again, because that was um that was the stuff that came through over 3 weeks. Just 3 titles I think I showed in my
Hmm.
trailers. So um let's see if I turn the background off. There's only a couple of things. There's very little really. Like I say, I've been falling asleep and going to
Mm,
work and all of that sort of stuff. But I think a lot of people know that Hawkeye is now starting to come through from Disney to everybody, which means
mm,
that the other titles, that because they do these in four, so there's two Star Wars generally and two Marvel that
yeah.
come out in there in these collectible things. This one means that there's another three coming very shortly.
Hmm.
And like I said, I went to work today at Bicester, and at lunchtime I went for my walk, and I picked this up in the um, charity shops for £1. It's the Pacific
Oh yeah, yeah,
Pound, which I think is the follow up to that other HBO
yeah,
title. I forget what it's
yeah.
called now. Bloody hell, it'll come to me. There you are. Look, it's a 10-part epic. But for £1, what can
The
you say? Yeah,
bargain,
for £1.
bargain.
I thought I had it on Blu-ray. I
Yeah.
checked my phone when I was inside the shop, and it said I hadn't got it.
Uh,
So I don't know if that's an omission because I haven't scanned it.
mm,
You know what I mean? But for
yeah,
£1, I thought, I've seen this
yeah.
on HBO a long time ago. I thought I had it on Blu-ray. It's called Band of Brothers or something, isn't it? The
That's
film.
right. Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right.
You see
I've
that a lot. Band of Brothers.
Yeah, I've got that on Blu-ray,
Yeah,
but I couldn't tell if I had
yeah,
it on the Pacific on
yeah.
Blu-ray or
I've
not.
not seen that. I've not seen the Pacific mentioned much before.
Yeah,
So it's the Band of Brothers.
every charity shop has got a sale on at Mister at the moment. It's like
Right.
all the old physical media on sale. This
Mm.
one had the original sticker on, which said £3. And
Yeah.
they said, no, everything is no more than £1. All the
Wow.
box sets £1.
Oh,
If
wow.
it's a singular disc, it's like 20 pence or 50 pence.
Yeah.
There wasn't anything that I really, really wanted, but that one stuck out. And I thought, for £1, even if I've got it, I'll send it to somebody.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But I did watch Robin and Marion on 4 on when I got into work from work today. It was I switched the telly on, and that was on. That was on
Yeah.
4, on 4 films.
All right. Yeah.
It was on at
Yeah.
like 5 o'clock or something this afternoon.
Yeah.
And I was watching that, and I really do love that film. I've shown that. I've got that on
Yes. Yeah.
Blu-ray.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
bought it as part
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
the sale that they have on.
Yeah.
What's that sale where all discs are a £5? They do them every now and again. Is it Intrada or I forgot
Oh,
what it is.
this.
I've bought all the Ray
Yeah.
Harryhausen films from there and a load of other
Yeah.
stuff. I even bought the
Yeah.
Eyes of Laura Mars from there anyway.
Oh.
I bought Robin and Marion from there for a £5 about last year.
That's
I
good.
raved
Yeah.
about how the John Barry score is gorgeous,
Yeah.
and that the ending I thought was a very prominent ending. I don't want to ruin it for anybody
Yeah.
anybody who sees the ending knows that it's not a happy ending,
No.
not a
No.
totally sad ending. It's just a unique ending for
Mm.
a Robin Hood film.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
forgot Ronnie Barker was in it, and a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
But it's very much. I mean, I think one of the actors as well is in Excalibur. He's Merlin, isn't he? Forgot what
Yeah.
character he is.
Yeah.
In the film. Anyway, that was on today. Well, I'm trying to think what else I watched. Oh yes,
Yeah.
one that I'm going to send you tomorrow. This was a great film I watched at the weekend. It was called Slingshot. Came out last year.
Oh, right.
No,
What's that about?
I'll explain Slingshot because I ordered it.
Mm.
Basically, it's one of those space films.
Oh, right.
It's one of those space films which has been done a lot of times before in regards to long travel in space and things that go and something that goes wrong. Like Passengers, where a bloke comes out of deep sleep and he's suffering from the fact that he's alone and that he's going to be 80 or something when everybody else wakes up, and he wakes somebody else up because he can't bear the fact that he's going to be falling asleep. Slingshot is another one of those, only it's about a mission where 3 people go up in a specially designed spaceship, but they have to go to sleep every the medicine that they give them forces them to go to sleep for 90 days.
Right, yeah.
And then it wakes them up. They're usually just checking things off, and then 2 days later or whatever, they go back to sleep. But one of the side effects is hallucination, all of this sort of stuff. And Lawrence Fishbone's in it.
Oh, it's good, yeah.
And one of them, it follows the sort of like life of one of them that wakes up. He's missing his girlfriend that he just fell in love with as they blasted off. But one of the other people that are with them decides something's happened to the ship and they need to turn around. The idea is they're going to slingshot around Jupiter to get to Saturn's moon, right? And the only turning point is to turn around.
All right,
yeah. So they'll sling. So they want a mutiny, but obviously each one of them has a different opinion. Like, no, he's just hallucinating. There's nothing wrong with the ship at all. There's no communication coming through from Earth to know whether there's any problems. The computers are all saying all things go, you should be going. And it follows that paranoia that's going on. Is something wrong? Are they going to? Because when they get there, it's they're supposed to be mining methane or something to give the Earth power because we've used it all or something like that. It's one of those stories. So that's a really good film. It's called Slingshot. And the reason I liked it was it wasn't about solitude, it's about paranoia. Which I thought was a bit was a bit different. Called Slingshot, came out last year. Don't remember seeing it at the pictures, but it was on Sky Movies as a 2024 premiere. And then I looked it up, and you can buy it on Blu-ray, not 4K. And I loved it so much that I downloaded a digital copy to send to you, but I forgot I haven't sent it yet because I fell asleep.
It's okay, don't worry.
Right? So you'll get it after this.
Yeah, that's all right.
And I saw that this weekend and thought, what a great film. Absolutely
sounds good.
Marvelous film.
And
one that I hadn't heard of. Maybe other people have heard of it.
It's always good to discover, isn't it?
It's called Slingshot. Loved it.
Fantastic.
And as you know, I love if it isn't about space, I love period pieces like The Duchess. I told you about. I sent you that, and that was
I enjoyed that.
So I'm looking forward to those. So really, there's been very little for me to watch. I've watched a few TV pieces. The BBC are full at the moment of watching Netflix documentaries. In fact, when I was listening to Radio 5 today, they've recommended the Madonna documentary about her career in the 80s. But the other big one is a Jerry Springer show.
Oh, right. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Right. And they've done a documentary on that, and apparently it's the number one thing to watch this week.
Is it?
I remember the Jerry Springer show. And it goes into all the reasons why it should never have been made.
Yes, that sounds good. Yeah.
Because obviously the one thing that comes out from watching that program is there was no aftercare for any of the people that were in it. All of the production crew were like people with long poles prodding to get them to jeer them up so that they fought. They got into fights. They were getting on. It was called The Ultimate Talk Show, and it was on for a number of years. But I must admit, one of the standout stories that they follow in this documentary, and I did watch it, was the bloke who married his horse.
Oh, God.
He actually married his horse, had sex with the horse.
Oh, no.
Changed his life so that the horse in his mobile home. All of this sort of stuff. Put underwear on the horse. Dressed it up like a woman. And it just goes to show the mental state, really, of this show. Because to be quite honest, to me, a talk show is like Parkinson. And this show
these are not like that. No,
it's not like it. It's more about sensationalism. And Jerry Springer was a quite a well-known media journalist at the time. And
what is interesting
before it turned into a huge universal world hit. He had a Jerry Springer show that was on in the afternoon that was more like the Parkinson show. It's just this producer came along and said, we got to jeer it up. And in this documentary, you hear this producer turn around. The BBC asked him a question. What is the line that you draw that would not be allowed on your show? And this guy, no word of a lie, turned around and said, there isn't a line. If I could have had an execution where somebody pulled out a gun and killed somebody on the show, I'd have let it on. Now
Mm.
that's a stunning statement to make
Yeah. I
this
think,
year.
yeah, you quite, in many ways, I think, justified that it's going to end badly, because in this country, somebody like Jeremy Kyle modeled his show on that, not quite as extreme,
Yeah,
and that was all proved to be all manipulated, and of course that ended in tragedy. The reason it was
yeah,
taken off was somebody committed suicide who they'd been poking fun at, and sort of it's interesting how it proves that these things can get out of hand. And
yeah.
in this country, they tried it, and look what happened. So
So,
it's
so
quite
this
a
was a
lesson.
recommendation that Radio
Yeah,
5 was saying.
it sounds good. Yeah,
I
yeah,
decided to watch it yesterday.
yeah.
And the one thing that came out of it is that the journalism like that will never be allowed again.
No.
And you know, this was at a time where there's no aftercare for anybody. Apparently, there's been a
Yeah,
lot. There's been a lot that's happened that we've heard from people that said they never looked after us. There was no
yeah,
aftercare afterwards. 6
yeah,
months later, people had suicides after being on the show.
yeah. Yes, yeah,
The problems that were going on in the show continued after the show for months and months and months, and they didn't even bother checking on these
yeah,
people. So I think I've, although it's not a film related thing, we're not talking all the time on here
yeah.
about films.
No, no.
If it's an interesting documentary that I think is worth watching, I'll mention
Mm,
it. You know, just like the most powerful documentary I've seen last year was at the end of was the Christopher Lee
yeah,
story.
yeah.
This one is equally as passionate
Mm,
because you just don't realize now what things got away with in the 90s and the early 2000s. I mean,
mm,
Christ, anything was okay to do. You know,
yeah.
there was no
No boundaries.
qualms
No
about putting
boundaries. No,
anything on. So,
no.
you know, so I do
Mm,
it, like I say, I would recommend watching it just from a curiosity piece of
yeah.
remembering that crap was the sort of thing that was allowed.
And it's interesting because if you look at it, ultimately, in this country, that happened once with the Jeremy Kyle show. And that other thing, I don't know what, it's some dating thing with Davina McCall. Didn't the winner or something commit suicide? There was no
I heard
aftercare
about
for
that.
that.
That's like
I've never watched it because I've no idea. But I remember
isn't that
that's
where
something.
the siblings watched their mum and dads get together or something? It was on
I
late
don't
last year.
know.
Is that what
I
it
just
was?
remember there was a lot in media at the time, and it was on. Was that? I think it was probably Channel 4, wasn't it, or something like
No,
that.
there was one
And
on ITV that was called Dating Mum and Dad or something.
oh god, there were some very poor programs. I remember late night ones and dreadful ones.
The only thing that came out of that, and I don't watch those shows, is that it was all over the ITV as a show that you ought to watch. And I go, nah, I'm not watching that sort of shit. And
Yeah,
then all of
yeah,
a sudden, Davina McCall was announced to the world that she was having a brain tumor removed,
wow, yeah,
which nobody wants
yeah.
to hear any of those sorts of
No,
stories.
no,
And I felt so bad for her.
yeah,
But apparently she was okay, but there was a 50-50 chance for her
yeah,
not to be around anymore.
yeah,
And you know, whenever you hear about somebody that, I mean, I remember the first time seeing Davina McCall. She was doing nightclubbing stuff. She was coming out of a drug-induced teenage life,
yeah,
and she was
yeah.
then going to nightclubs and interviewing people while they were
Right.
at clubs, like the Hitman and Her. There was a show like
Oh,
that.
I remember that was a late night thing
Yeah,
on
and she was in one
ITV.
of those. She was in one of
Yeah.
those things before
Oh,
Big
yeah.
Brother
I
came
didn't
along
like
and
those. Pretty
pushed
awful.
her career to the
Yeah. Yeah.
stratosphere. And I remember her because I thought, oh, she's quite an energetic person. And of
Yeah.
course, this was at a
Yes. Yeah.
time. This was in the 90s as well.
Yeah.
And of course, the nightclub scene was quite big for people of the 30 in their 30s, and I was in my 30s.
Mm.
So of course I was watching that, like I was watching, all of that late night crap on Channel 4, the stuff that was from France or something. You couldn't even
Was
understand
it?
what the bloody presenter was talking about. There
Oh,
was
there was a silly program. What was it?
Euro trash or something like that.
Euro Trash.
Yeah.
Euro Trash. That was it. And it
And
was
all of that.
showing sort of extreme people in France doing silly things, or
Yeah.
that would be like sort of Married to a Horse, and they literally would have the
Yeah.
horse there, and
The reason I remember it is because it was at a time where most people would say that there was absolutely really nothing on the telly for a Friday or a Saturday,
yeah,
but because everybody was going night clubbing, and when they came in from nightclubs at 2 o'clock, that sort of show was on,
yeah,
and
yeah,
people were purposely staying up to watch this crap.
yeah,
And it's amazing how everybody will remember something like Eurotrash
yeah,
in their
yeah.
lives.
I
Yeah,
was
you got
never a nightclubber though. I was all drinking and live gigs. That was me.
yeah.
So
But
I
it's the
never
same
went
thing.
to
If you got in late from a
yeah,
gig, that was
yeah.
on, and it was
Oh
really,
yeah,
it
yeah,
was really it was really like a psychedelic, the Tube for 2 a.m.
yeah.
in the
Oh, the
morning.
Tube, great. Yeah, love
For
the
2
Tube. Yeah,
a.m. in the morning with
yeah, yeah,
weird things.
yes, yeah,
To
yeah.
me, the Tube was brilliant.
Oh, it
The Old Grey
was
Whistle Test was
the Tube.
brilliant.
Oh, the old girl was
I
just
didn't get
brilliant.
on with TFI Friday
Yeah, yeah.
for a
Which
number
got
of
into a bit of
reasons.
trouble, didn't it?
Yeah, for a
TFI
number of
Friday
reasons.
language. People.
I love watching bands being interviewed, but
Yeah,
as far as I was concerned, Chris Evans, that was his name, wasn't it?
yeah.
Chris,
Chris Evans.
right? He was mustard to a lot, Marmite to a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah.
people.
Actually, he was trying to push the boundaries because he interviewed that Sean Ryder
Yeah,
from
that's
Happy
right.
Mondays, and that bloke can't say a sentence without using the F word.
Yeah, and then
And
they brought him on again, didn't they?
yeah, and it
Um,
was obvious it was going to happen. They got into trouble by all sorts of people.
from the Independent Broadcast
Yeah,
Association. And I think that's the reason that I didn't really get on with the show, is that the
yeah,
Tube would obviously be very sympathetic and say, "Oh, we're so sorry that we had, a star on and he swore or something."
yeah.
But he would
Yeah,
purposely
he
not
would.
push the envelope. He'll
Yeah,
say, "Do you know what? I don't
yeah,
give a shit whether actually people
yeah,
didn't like the fact that he
yeah,
swore. I'll bring him on again because I'll make it out or something that I'm very apologetic, and then he'll just do it all over again for
yeah.
sensationalism
That's
reasons."
right. Exactly.
And
It was
and
obvious.
that was to propel it's purposely his career.
Yeah,
He was a
yeah,
millionaire by then. He was going through a divorce with Billy Piper and all
yeah,
this sort of stuff. It was and all that.
yeah,
Personally, I think Chris Evans tried too hard to be a better version of Kenny Everett, which
yeah,
was an impossibility because Kenny
yeah,
Everett was a force of
yeah,
energy
yeah. I wonder what ever
that was
happened.
so
Yeah.
inventive, and a sad loss to the world when he died.
Oh
And
yeah,
Chris
Kenny
Evans
Everett
tried to
was
be
a
that
league of his
force of
own, I think.
energy,
Yeah.
and he could never be that. He
No.
can be as much as a millionaire as much as he wants. He would
Yeah.
never replace Kenny Everett.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if he tried, his little finger isn't
Yeah.
um, as diverse and as
Yeah.
full of ideas as him.
That
He could.
radio show he did for an hour, didn't he? He had an hour's radio show, and it was just full of
Yeah,
invention, and then
and
the TV. Then he went on to
the
TV.
only thing similar is he was sacked by as many people as he
Yeah.
was, getting on. But as
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned, the Kenny Everett video show, the Kenny Everett Will I Get to New Year's Day show, the
Yeah.
BBC show was a very subdued version of the ITV one. The ITV one was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And his whole life story of how he introduced Queen and Bohemian Rhapsody to the
Yeah.
world,
Yeah.
and the fact that he did all of his little skits on radio where he recorded his voice and then recorded his voice again as if he was having an interview with
That's
himself,
right. Yeah.
and all of that looping tape just shows how far ahead he was into the future in regards
Yeah.
to what needed to
Yeah.
be done to be entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the sad thing is, just like anything where you hear about many comedians and presenters,
Yeah.
his personal life was just shocking, to the
Yeah.
point
I know.
where,
He lived a very excessive life, and he was one of these people who were around Freddie Mercury. There was a group of them, and inevitably, like they all died of AIDS. It was that early period, wasn't it, with AIDS?
and of course,
Yeah.
it's well documented just how in love Cleo Roccas was with
Yeah.
him, which was the big boobed lady that was
That's right.
really
Yeah.
in the later part of his
Yeah.
BBC life. She was
Yeah.
in the skits for the BBC stuff. It
Yeah.
was more legs and co for the ITV stuff. So she wasn't around then. It was all the same sort of dancers that you'd get with legs and co. Cleo Roccas again is just one of those characters where we were in love with women with big boobs, I think, where Legs and Co was more about an athletic sort of like lady showing off, how revealing their dresses were, and that not one of them would have been a huge Sharon, like a Samantha Fox big boobed one. You wouldn't have had a dancer like that. But she loved him to bits, and they even talked about marriage and all sorts of stuff. And it would have been like Elton John's marriage. It would have been a sham. It would have been, I think the fact that they had their unique relationship was enough. I'm glad that happened.
Yeah.
But there's lots of books about Kenny Everett. I recommend that you read one of the autobiographies of his. I've got one of them. But there's lots of documentaries in because he was it Radio Caroline?
Most of these Radio 1 DJs started off on Radio Caroline of that era. There was a whole group of them, weren't there? And that's why Radio 1 was created. They wanted to stop Radio Caroline, and they just recruited them all from there.
So I have seen lots of documentaries about Radio Caroline, lots of documentaries about BBC One, but there is a documentary a couple of years ago about Kenny Everett, worth going and looking on torrent sites or whatever, because it's not one that you'd be able to buy. There's lots of little snippets on the network DVDs, of the Kenny Everett show, where they'll do an after show. What it was like working with Kenny Everett, all of those sort of things. But there is a documentary.
Network have released, haven't they, some of the Kenny Everett shows on ITV, haven't they?
The whole ITV stuff is actually in one box set, but it's like 60 quid.
Oh dear.
It's like 60 quid. But what I'm trying to say is that there's lots of little snippets on there. I'm not saying go out and buy those, but if you download all of the little snippets, that's one way of getting a flavour of Kenny Everett. But there is a documentary that Channel 5s have done and BBC's through the years. You put them all together, and you've got a good.
I think there has been some individual year releases, because I'm sure Jim Jam showed some of the individual ones. I think he's probably got the whole complete lot, but they were on network releases.
Well, they released them as volume. They released them as like the Kenny Everett video show. Year 1, year 2. The longer versions that were shown on New Year's Eve. Will Kenny Everett get to 1980? Will he get to 1979? There was a couple of those. Then that was a BAFTA-winning TV show in the late 70s, early 80s, before he jumped ship to the BBC. Where he had his own half-hour show.
That's right. I remember watching it.
But it was very much in the BBC vein. The ITV ones were shown late at night, sort of
a bit more edgier.
The sort of thing you'd watch on a Friday
at
10:30 after the news. And again, heavily pushing the rock star sort of thing, because it'd have people like Rod Stewart on and David Essex, if I remember rightly. And I've forgotten her name. Bonnie Tyler. Yeah, Bonnie Tyler. In the early parts of their career. Singing songs, but also joining him in with the skits. The BBC will always remember him as being Cupid's stunt, which was a new character that wasn't on the ITV shows. He did have Brotherly Love with the finger, he had that on the ITV shows. But he made up a load more new characters. Sid Snot, I think.
That's right.
No, Sid Snot was on the ITV one. Sid Snot was on the ITV one. That's right. Because David Essex was his friend while he was doing the Sid Snot show, and he also had the mad conservative bloke who was dressed up in a suit, but if you turned around, it was wearing stockings and suspenders and a bra. Who just ranted at TV about how things that were bad. I'm laughing and smiling thinking about it, which is why I'm so glad to be here. This is where I'm sort of reminiscing in my memories.
Yeah, and it's all done in the best possible taste.
Done in the best possible taste.
Yeah.
So we got to listen to what you've watched. So I'm so sorry.
God, I've forgotten now where I am.
I just want to say, can I just want to say, everybody you that wished me a birthday, thank you. It was over the weekend. I won't, it was over at the end of last week and over the weekend. I'm very big on not putting my correct date of birth on any live social media, so everybody was wishing me birthday around the time of what my birthday is without knowing what my birthday is, because I don't want anybody to get hacked and then find that they've had fraud committed because they stupidly went and put their proper date of birth in to a social media thing. But I had a great time watching all of the I hope you had a great birthday, all of that sort of stuff. I had the best time, really, even though I didn't get one card. I didn't get one present. I don't give a shit. I was with my mum and I was looking at all the messages, and I had just this weekend I had such a nice relaxing time reading it all. So thank you so much. You know what I mean? It's terrible having your birthday so close to after Christmas.
Yeah,
it's like everything's cleared the way now. I've got to wait till next Christmas now before anything's going to happen. There's no Valentine's Day. I can't stand Easter, all of that sort of stuff. The only thing happens that's good at Easter is not the chocolate. It's I get to watch the robe and the 10 Commandments and everything all again.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So sorry, over to you, Ian.
I do apologize. What have I watched? Well, I just have a rant. I did download quite a few.
That's copyright me, rant. You can't have a rant.
Well, I've just fancied one because I'm fed up. It's my fault in ways. It's that I do a lot of downloads and think, oh, that looks interesting. They're all from streaming sites and what have you. And what a lot of crap.
I'll have a rant about you having a rant. Go on.
I just got fed up of what, and then I thought, right, I've had enough of all this. It's trying to find the best ones, and to get through, you have to some absolute crap films that people think, oh, I'm going to do a horror film. Yeah, horror films, fine, but then they're so awful. They're just not even good. You can tell that they're streaming horror films. They pinch from about every film you can think of, and then think it's original. And they're rubbish. How they get away with it? How do Netflix and all these other streaming sites, Shudder is it, and all that, they pay for this rubbish to be made? And it is honestly. They're not all like that. You can get some good ones, but the majority, you're watching a film. You can just tell. You put it on, you're watching a film. It's from one of those streaming sites. And why can't they do better? Why can't they?
It's amazing
don't
that
know.
the one thing I've learned looking at social media, and I must admit I don't watch an awful lot of social media at the moment. I do go on there because I want to know what films have been pre-announced, right?
Oh yeah.
Where was I going to go with this? Yes, they said that this year was going to be the year of horror. And they've shown all these things that are going to be coming out this year. A picture grid of in January this is going to come out and all of this, and it was like, oh, this is the year of horror.
I
was
saw
looking
that.
at it, and I tell you what, 2/3 of it looked a continuation of a film that was shown the year before. You know, it's like a sequel or whatever.
Or bad sequels. No,
if all it takes is for you to have a good, successful year in horror is to have a sequel to something that you did the year previous, then that's a sad state of affairs. Because last year, I think, was pretty good in regards to the fact that there was a lot of new ones that we'd never heard of. Abigail, you know, there was a lot of stuff there. If all they're doing now is taking context of that did really well, we're going to do a sequel to it next year, then I don't think it's going to be the year of horror at all. It'll be the year of the sequel.
The strength of horror will be when it comes from independent, small people who are creating horror, because you can create horror. They do well, and the quality is good. But I think when you're tied to one of these streaming sites, it's got a certain flavor to it. You just know when you're watching it, this is not good. And I got fed up of them. I did. I got really fed up of them.
So you're talking about something where you haven't actually mentioned a title. What was the title of one of these ones that you saw?
God, there was something about. There was something. Oh God, it was so bad I even forgot the titles. But there's one. It said, "I'm an axe." A murderer or something, you know, attacker or something like that.
I'm a secret axe attacker.
It was trying to be clever. It had like a video shop, so it was there, you know, the posters going up of the video golden age, and it was all related to horror, but it was so rubbish. Honestly, it was absolute rubbish. And I thought, well, what can you say? Why am I wasting my time? Anyhow, I did pick up a download film that I really did enjoy, and it's not horror. It's really character study, and Jamie Powell mentioned it as well. I thought, blooming heck, Jamie Powell's been watching this. It was called A Real Pain, and it's about these two cousins, and they're very different. One's married, and he's got a child, and he's very sort of stable, and then the other cousin he's a very much an individual. He's the sort of person who walks into a room and people immediately, you know, are drawn to him. And these two go on to Poland, and it's like they come from there. They've gone to see their grandma's house. That's the idea, pilgrimage, and it's really a Holocaust tour that they've gone on. And it's absolutely wonderful. And they filmed it in Poland as well. And we saw the concentration camps. But it was a brilliant study of these two individuals and how they were in their past and their connection with Poland. And then seeing where their grandmother lived. And it was absolutely amazing. Something like that gives you sort of thinking, well, they can make good films, you know, they're not all the same. And that was probably from a streaming site. I don't know. It was called A Real Pain, but it was absolutely thought it was fantastic. The other films that I've watched, and I watched these today because I got them today and just couldn't resist. I knew I'd like this. Alien Romulus.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. My only gripe with it, but I love, to be honest, I love the Alien series, even the bad ones. So it's something I just enjoy. I'd say my gripe was the cast. That was the problem, like everybody's pointed out. The characters are not that interesting, unfortunately. The most interesting one is the black guy who plays the android. He's perhaps the most interesting one of the lot.
I think it was. Is it Jamie from McMahon Movies? Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically said that the robot is a very successful character. I
Yeah.
think in it.
He is. Yeah.
He was the first review I think I saw which mentioned that it's a Marmite film because of the fan service. There's a
Yeah.
lot of fan service, like
There is about the. I saw that. Yeah, but that didn't
zooming in.
bother me.
It's things like the words about being a bitch or something is a throwback to
Yeah,
Aliens,
there are there.
and that
Yeah.
and they purposely throw that in
Yeah, it's
to
true. It
give
is
fan
true, but
service.
I just felt for me, it was the characters didn't seem well drawn. But I enjoyed the film, even though I'm criticizing it. I did enjoy it. You know, it's something that you just kind of just watch and just. Uh, yeah, but I'm like that with the whole series of the Alien films. Alien is the top one. It's my favorite. But
Oh
then
yeah,
it's the sort of series of films, even the bad ones, I can just sit and watch. You know, I know they're not as good, some of them, but some are. You know, I
I'm
think they're
biased. Just you
entertaining.
see, I'm very biased, Ian, when it comes
Yeah,
to Alien because um, it's a Ridley Scott film.
that's right. Yeah,
And from that point of view, and his follow-up film, Blade Runner, and
yeah,
you know his career, because the film he did before Alien was The Duel,
yeah. Which flopped, didn't it?
yeah, which was a
It
which
flopped.
you know when you consider
Yeah,
the talent that was in that
yeah,
film,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and even we're only talking in the last 2 years he's done a sequel to that.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
he actually went back to the well to actually do that film again in a hope that they
yeah,
could make that a success, and I think it was to a point.
yeah,
Um, I'm big on suspense over action, which is why I think Aliens is such a great film
yeah,
because it's obviously the coin. It's the other face of the coin when you consider the tone of the first film. The first film is
yeah,
very suspenseful, quiet, slow. Watch the aliens slowly pick them off one by one, with aliens being the all-out war on the planet with alien after alien after alien all coming at you and all of that sort of stuff, which makes it a very action-orientated film.
mm,
And which is why I think when you look at the early Alien films, they'll not be beaten because they were
yeah,
so new. They broke the boundaries when
yeah,
you watch the sequels.
yeah,
They lose their way past
yeah,
Alien Resurrection
yeah.
purely
They do.
because
Yeah,
Hollywood tries to do prequels
yeah,
and let's explain where they come from, let's explain where they
mm,
end up, let's explain what happens when they meet another science
yeah.
fiction
I
character
do
from a
get
totally
that, but
different series. And
yeah, I find them entertaining.
yeah,
I still like it. I still like the Alien versus Predator and
and the
all that
funny thing
rubbish.
the thing I was trying to
Yeah,
get to in a very long way was
yeah,
Alien Romulus fits in between Alien and Aliens.
yeah.
And a lot of people have mentioned about the fan service in it, like the zooming in on the lead woman's trainers to be the same
Oh,
trainers that
yeah,
Sigourney Weaver
yeah,
wears or whatever it is. And
yeah,
there's another one that they mentioned, which is the line about the bitch, which you don't understand because in Aliens the bitch is correct because it's the mother of the alien that was
yeah,
laying all the
yeah,
eggs and stuff.
yeah, yeah,
There is nothing like that in Alien Romulus. It is an alien film, but it's not
yeah,
really in context. The funny
yeah.
thing about it is this film is slotted in before Aliens, so if you were watching them in order, you wouldn't have actually have heard that line until you watched this film.
No,
So it can't
no,
be a fan service because if
no.
you were watching them in order, you wouldn't have got to
Yeah,
Aliens yet and heard that line.
yeah,
You'd be saying
yeah.
Aliens was the bad film because it's like they borrowed that from Romulus. See what I mean? The
Yeah,
irony of it is that they've tried to slot it in and they're referencing a line that you haven't even watched yet
yep,
or heard yet.
yeah,
That is that makes me laugh because that's
yeah,
how Hollywood is. It's a
yeah,
joke.
yeah, yeah,
Um, so, But yeah, I'm like you. Carry on with your Alien Romulus.
I'm trying to think. Yeah.
I've,
Oh yeah. Yeah. So that
I
was
just wanted
Alien
to, I
Romulus.
just wanted to single out that.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
it's enjoyable, and I can't understand, people sort of saying, but it's just personal, that after Alien 3, that's it. And Alien 3 is a divided film as one, but I just enjoy it. It's like the Halloween films. I love all the Halloween films, and yeah, they go down and off. In some of them are not as good, but sometimes if you just watch them all, you can. I just enjoy them. It's just personal, anyhow. And then I watched this one, which is another one I got today, and I was really impressed with this one. It's called Melancholia or Melancholia.
oh, I saw that. Yeah, I've seen that a couple of years ago. This is the wedding, the wedding, isn't it?
Yeah, there's two bits. There's the first half, which is the wedding, and then there's the bit afterwards. Now,
this film, just by the way, ladies and gentlemen, listen to what Ian says here. This film is an incredible film. Now, this is a psychological. You really have to watch it film.
It says it's a sci-fi film.
No.
But that did you know? It's not. In many ways, the title is the giveaway. The sci-fi element is that basically this planet called Melancholia is heading towards the Earth, and that's going to be end of the Earth, and it's how people react to that. The cast is incredible as well in this. Brilliant cast. You've got what's her name? Kirsten Dunst.
She's the one who's getting married in it.
Yeah. You've got Charlotte. What's her name? I've heard of her before. I can't read that one very well. Charlotte. She's good. She's the sister. It's really a story about sisters. Oh, you've got Keith Sutherland as well. He pops up in it. He's quite an important role. But it's really about their relationship, and it's about a lot of mental illness, depression.
It's all about that.
Done in a very intelligent way, and the way the film is done in the two halves, the two sections, is great. When we see the wedding, then we see it after, because it's quite clear.
It's the reception which is the big chunk of it.
Yeah, it's quite clear that relationship won't last, and then the second part it's moved on, but the characters have moved on. The one in many ways that we thought was the one with the real problems and that, really, she's changed in the second half. And then the sister that we thought was the stable one, suddenly it has changed as well. It's a brilliant study of how these events have changed the characters. But I can't do it justice, really, because I just thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a film. Just watch it and see what you think. It's just I found it incredible. I really am knocked over by it.
That film is an incredible film. That's one of those films where it did nothing at the box office. It did nothing in sales for Blu-ray, DVD, or anything. I came across it as a sort of a hidden gem, and I started to go onto the chat into other people's chats, and I talked about it. And people were, I think, really looking at me like I was an idiot or something, talking about this film. Never heard of it. No, sounds boring shit. No. This is a great film.
Yeah.
And it's amazing that sometimes somebody will watch one of my blogs or something from the past and bring it up and say, I saw you talking about this film Melancholia or whatever. As I went, oh, see, and they all turn around, and most people that have actually mentioned it have turned around and said, thanks for recommending it. I didn't know anything about it, and I really enjoyed watching it. And it's a very deep psychological film. It's not one thing, it's many.
Exactly.
It's mental illness, like you say. It's
I just saw it and I thought, oh, I know that director's name, Lars von Trier. But the reason I know his name is because he directed a very controversial film, which was Antichrist, which is a film that a lot of people can just stomach, or maybe not stomach. But it's got, and I won't go into it, but you look it up, Antichrist, you'll see what I mean. But this, I just saw it and I thought, this looks interesting. I just saw all I saw was that cover and what it said on there, and I thought, oh, why not take a chance? It proves that sometimes you could just take a chance on something, and I'm really pleased. I'll be watching this again.
It's
just wonderful.
What I think is the best way to watch that film, you have to watch it twice.
Yeah.
Because you have to sort of like watch what's going on and take things in.
Yeah.
But then the best thing about it is to come back to it probably a year or so later. Don't watch it within 6 months. You need to sort of like let it drop, and then you discover it again. The best way to watch that film is to have a second discovery and forget you watched it.
And the extras are good because there's an interview with the director, and there's the interview with the two leading actresses on there, and they give a really interesting perspective about the making of this film and background. I love the way a good actor or actress talk about the film and its wider context, and they must have had discussions obviously in the role of how they're going to portray the role, and I loved it. Thought it was a great film. Really pleased.
I think Kirsten Dunst acted really well in the film.
Yeah,
I think it's one of those films where she's come back into the limelight of a film that doesn't get talked about too much. Do you know what I mean? She was a big hit in the Spider-Man films, and then she dropped off the cliff. That's it.
The Spider-Man. I knew she
dropped off the cliff, and nobody heard of her. Or she was in little indie films and stuff.
Yeah,
I think in this one she turned around and said that she was a bit anxious because I think she had to do a nude scene. Well, a number of nude scenes. Yeah. They're in long shot. They're not disgusting or over the top.
It's not a gratuitous scene or anything. It's just in there. It's just part of the thing. But I was. It's a well-crafted film. This director has got a good, brilliant ability.
I'm so glad you discovered it. It's a great film.
Yeah.
It's
a film that you just want to, think about. And I've been thinking about this ever since I watched it. It's just absolutely amazing.
I think it was my friend Jambon that said, "I'm so surprised you watched it. Nobody talks about this film." And I went, "Yeah, it is. It's a great film. Great film."
It shows sometimes to take a chance on films. You can just be looking and thinking, "Well, that looks interesting." It doesn't always work, and you can get crap. But I just took a chance. I'd never heard of it, and just did it. I've heard of the director, as I said. I thought, I'll try that. I'm really pleased. Anyhow, I've been going on too much. Just one more film. This is my Tony York section.
Jesus Christ!
No, but this film, I've reviewed this film, and
I'll tell you what. I'm glad that Tony York is not a bloody drinking. Is not part of a drinking game or something, because we'll all be pissed. I tell you what, with the mere mention of his name, oh look what Tony York sent me this bloody week, bloody bastard. Yeah,
listen to the cast. This is The Frightened City, 1961. This is brilliant British film noir. Honestly, it's got Herbert Lom, Sean Connery, and John Gregson. These are the main actors. Brilliant actors, all of them in great films. Sean Connery is a baddie in this as well. This is, brilliant film. It's what I like as well is the location in London. America were doing this kind of film, in sort of their kind of films in America. But this is a good British one, a British film noir crime thriller. And you see London, and it's wonderful just looking at it at that period in time. And it's just a great film. I'm surprised how good it is. And this is all, in that period, 1961, the British film industry, he's gonna, it needs reviving, and this is the kind of film that got it going. And then we get into kitchen sink dramas and the whole thing. It's brilliant. This is a great film. It's called The Frightened City. Yeah, I think actually I may upgrade as well because I think it's on Blu-ray. But with a cast like that, I like Herbert Lom. He's great. Pops up in so many great films, and of course seeing Sean Connery playing a baddie is always good.
Yeah,
it's very good to see him. And John Gregson, another British stalwart actor that pops up in so many films. And I love that. And that's it. And you always ask for a bit of music that I've been listening to. And this is the album I've been listening to. And in fact, I've ordered some more. This is Sheer Heart Attack Queen. I've ordered the Day at the Races. Is it is it Night of the Opera? No, I think Night of the Opera. That's the one. I've just ordered that because it's the classic album, and I've been collecting classic albums, and it's the one with Bohemian Rhapsody on, isn't it? And I thought, well, I'll get that one because it really brought them into big, stardom, really. That album, so I've ordered that, and that should be coming. But I listened to this. This is really heavy, really like the heavy sort of Queen. But I'm going to see, obviously, with next album will be a different, not as heavy, but it's got some classic tracks. So anyway, I've gone on about Queen, but I may get into a bit more of them. I've got a few albums. I've got the greatest hits.
I'm looking at just looking quickly at the comments. The first thing I've got to say is, hey, I love Muckman. Muckman's brilliant, right? Right. But the first thing I've noticed is he's correcting me. Del, The Last Duel is not a sequel, blah blah blah. What I actually meant, right? And you got to remember that we're just doing general conversations. Is Ridley Scott is not well known as doing sequels, right?
Yeah.
And what I was trying to refer to was he went back to The Well. He actually did that as a first film, The Duel. And the film that he did a couple of years ago is going back to a concept that he did in his first film, is what I was trying to get at. I wasn't trying to refer whether it was a prequel, a sequel, whatever it was, but I obviously used the word sequel. And so of course there's the correction coming in. I love all that. Thanks very much. Keep me on the straight and narrow, Muckman. So that's all I wanted to say about that. There was something else I was going to say. Oh yeah, Tony York, you're still a bastard. And by the way, it's not about sending me films. It's an in-joke that we have now between us all, where Tony Scott sends everything to you and I get nothing in the post. It's that caricature. It's not me trying to fish for people to send me something, right? It really is a persona where we have a little joke about it, saying, "Where's this bastard keep getting stuff?" Right? I am not a minted southerner.
Right then. Okay, are you ready now?
I've got to pay house bills because my mum's now a pensioner and she can't afford it anymore. So I'm telling you now, I'm paying bills left, right, and centre. So I'm telling you now, I ain't minted one bit. I can tell you that now. Jesus. Fire.
Right. Okay. Let's get into it then. Let's have a look. The first one we've got is from Altec Nassus. Hello, my dear great friend Ian Hill. I hope you have a great, wonderful, international, splendid day, blessed with beautiful accomplishments and achievements. May God always bless your life with happiness. Well, thank you very much. Altec.
Yeah, and I'll just sit in the background, look, while you tell everything to him and me. And by the way, Delhi can go to bloody hell. Yeah, thank you.
Stephen Falls says, "Hi, Ian and Delboy. Did my Donnie Yen marathon at the weekend. Watched 10 of his best movies. I'm going to be doing a Jet Li marathon this Saturday and Sunday coming." Oh well, Yeah, you certainly had a big marathon there. 10 of his films. God, that's a lot.
Yeah, I like
What
Jet
the-
Li. I don't really watch an awful lot of those types of films. I'm so glad that when people talk about a marathon of a particular type of film or whatever, because it makes me think myself, I might follow suit with you because I haven't heard of this bloke or this director or this production team or this whatever. And I get really involved watching them because
Yeah,
if you watch them in a glut like 10, you go,
that's a lot.
wow, why haven't
Yeah,
why haven't I watched this stuff before? You might hate it at the beginning and then at the end you love it or whatever. A lot of things can happen when somebody mentions watching a marathon of something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you must probably start in the morning and go right through till the night,
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it must be quite a job.
Yeah, you're gonna have to start calling you Ian
Yeah,
Hill if you carry on like this, Stephen. Bloody hell.
yeah. And then we've got Cy Robson saying, I saw Stephen Moles, did the marathon include Rogue One? Oh.
Because there's a Rogue One connection.
Yeah. And good evening, chaps, Cy says. And then Wee Bob Art says, evening all. Oh, Wee Bob Art.
Wee Baba, you bastard. Yeah,
Ian is in HD. Del is in SD.
Hey?
There you are. And in the
I'll tell you
thumbnail
what.
on the screen.
Yeah, I've told you about that picture that you've done, and that I look like something that I've been washed in what's the word? I've forgotten what they call it. Petroleum jelly.
Oh, right.
Right. It looks like Vaseline's been washed all over me, and you look like as sharp as a tack. And I said, you need to do that. That was all right for the first couple, but you need to change that thumbnail. You must have enough.
Right.
You must have enough pictures of me now to actually change that. I keep saying we ought to get Wee Bob Art to commission a thumbnail for us because he's he's such a brilliant digital artist. I think he ought to do it for us.
I have to make do and try and do it best I can. And then we've got
you did it once, and you can't be asked to go back.
Cy Robson. No, I didn't include that. Mainly watched his older movies. All right. And then Steve Game. Hello, Ian and Del. You pair of old buggers. Oh, you're both well. Yeah, we're all right.
Steve's having the worst start to 2025 that you possibly can have, and I'm wishing him really well. And I know that things are going to do an upturn tick very, very soon for him. Such a bad state of luck. I'll let him explain all of that himself. I don't want to give anything away, but I mean, we're 2 weeks in, and you just can't believe some of the things that are happening in his life at the moment. I wish you well, my friend, and I'll be doing some things to turn that frown upside down for you in the next couple of days. Yeah,
that's nice. Right. Yeah, so we wish him all the best. Yeah,
I love him to bits. Like all of them. I mean, I love McMahon movies. I love Wee Bob Art. I love Tony York, even though he's a bastard. I like And then I'm gonna start doing a salute to Muckman if I keep mentioning his
and
name.
Here we are.
Enough time.
Jamie Muckman Movies. Good evening, you filthy animals. Oh, thank you very much.
There you got to do it. You filthy animals, because it's that's like a catchphrase, isn't it? I'd buy that for $1 and all of that sort of shit.
And then we've got, I think Ian and Delboy have overslept.
No, my fault.
We're waiting for you. And then
it's to do with my illness. I do apologize.
Yeah, it's okay. Well, what was your favorite Donnie Yen film, Stephen? And he says, Simon says that I like the Tiger Cage trilogy. And Wee Bob Hart says, evening, maybe technical difficulties or MIB flashy thing. Oh, right.
Men in Black, is that?
Ah, yeah. Did anyone see the new trailer for Daredevil Born
Yes,
Again?
I have.
It
Yeah.
has the feel of a Netflix series, so fingers crossed Disney didn't ruin it. Oh, right.
I think that one is the one that most people are frightened about, because Daredevil got a reputation as being a class product when it came out. It went on for about 3 seasons.
Yeah.
They've tried to introduce Daredevil back into the cinematic universe. It's failed on a number of things. Everybody has been screaming, bring the TV series back.
Yeah.
It was under a totally different studio when that was being done. I think it was Netflix.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So now it's under Disney, back with Disney. In other words, Netflix can't show even the old Daredevils. I think that's what it is.
Oh, right. Yeah.
People are scared a little bit in regards to, are they is it a continuation or is it a reimagination type thing? And will it be as good? In other words, are you getting the same people that made the original, not just the actors, the technical staff behind it, the writers behind it in this, or are you Marvel Cinematic Universing it, as in dumbing it down?
Yeah.
Right. I think Marvel know just how good that show was. I don't think they'll dumb it down. I think that they will continue that. They would be stupid to try and change something about that show when they know how revered it is.
When's that due out then? On Disney?
March.
Yeah. Oh, it's near then. Not far off. Oh,
Yeah.
right. Oh, that's good. And Jamie says, nice. I've watched the first one, but still got the other 2 to watch in my box set. I love the IP Man films.
I'm glad you said IP Man's there. I looked at that and I thought, I wonder if Ian's going to say 1p, because it's like...
I didn't say 1p, I said I.
Because he is a northerner and 1 pence is a lot of money for him back then.
How much?
How many could you get? 2 gobstoppers, a rhubarb and custard, and a black licorice or something for 1 pence.
A gobstopper,
from the corner shop where you lived. Or
that's right. Wee Bob Out says, "Is that a movie at Cy Robson or TV series?" Oh, right, yep. And nope. Still need to watch those Daredevil series from a while back. Wouldn't mind, but I have the steel books, but not watched yet. You blooming steelbook people, eh?
They were Zavvi exclusives, and they had really nice covers.
Your blooming steelbooks.
It was a great show.
Get them watched. Yeah, steelbooks. And that's me just saying. Waiting for you. Muckman movies.
I must admit, I've not been well, so I do apologize.
Yeah. No worries. All the ramblings. Sai says, "We Bob it's a new TV on Disney Plus. It has the original cast from the Netflix show, and so it's a continuation of the Daredevil show." Oh, there you are. It's good to hear, isn't it? That's very good.
That's all we know. It was a fantastic Netflix show. Marvel got pissy and took it off of Netflix. Stopped them from even being able to broadcast it as a repeat. Have been trying to bring back Daredevil in some way and done snippets in the Marvel films. Now they've done a continuation.
Well, that's good, because Disney insisted that they do it in their way, which is good. That's good.
Yeah.
Perhaps Disney are learning.
You hope.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I don't like to kick a company down while they're on the floor, and Disney is an easy target for people to kick them in the guts while everybody is also giving them a kick in, right?
Yeah.
You got to understand that I wish sometimes that they wouldn't keep trying to change the envelope.
Yeah.
Don't try
Yeah.
so hard. If something works, continue it.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know what I
Yeah,
mean?
why change something that works? Yeah.
You know, that's one of the big things that we used to love about going to films is that it's a continuation of something
Yeah.
that I loved watching, like
Yeah.
when Star Wars came out, and then it was The Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was more of the same, but
Yeah.
newer, fresher,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Why do you have to then change all the writers and all of this sort of stuff and go in
When
a
you
totally
yeah.
different direction just for
Yeah.
freshness? For freshness, they think
No.
it's bollocks. Just give
Yeah.
us more of what we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Then we've got Tony. Hello, Tony. Evening, Ian and Dell and Jamie.
Yeah, hello, you bastard. Yeah.
We both cheers at Cy Robson. I've watched some of the original series, but I got a bit bored. I don't do well with TV series.
Yeah. Daredevil was one of those ones where it was 10 episodes long or something, an hour long. There was a scene, and there was 3 or 4. I think it was a 4.
Yeah.
It gets complex because Punisher came out as well, and it mixed the
yeah.
characters up.
Yeah.
I think there was 3 seasons, maybe 4.
Yeah.
And that's 40 odd episodes, remember, of a series that didn't really get to even the point where he's wearing his classic costume. It took about 2 seasons to get to that. You know what I mean? It's a very slow burn, you know.
Jamie says, I do, Tony. And Cy says, we Baba, I get what you're saying. Tony says, I hope Dell and his mum are okay. There you are.
Mum's not as well as what I make out to be. Her memory has gotten quite bad. And today, I worried all the time that I was at work because Wednesday is the day that I have to travel to the office. And when I got in, I said to her when I got in, I said, how was today? Lonely. She said, nobody here, nothing going on. I said, if you had the telly on, nothing to watch. So yeah, and then of course I got her a cup of tea, and when I got in here, I fell asleep. It's a problem I've got, and you know I need to sort out this because I need to be able to, you know, get her something to eat. I don't even know if she's had a sandwich to eat today. You know what I mean? So this is the reason why I'm late, because I have to get caught up and know that she's had some food and all of this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. Anyway, it's my fault.
No, it's all right. That's fine.
No, but I feel bad. I do feel bad.
Cy says, I hope Dell is well. And there you are. Stephen Mull says, I watched the Jack Frost horror movies last night. The guy who plays Jack Frost can't act for shit. Laugh out loud. Makes Gary Busey playing the ginger dead man look good.
That's saying
I've heard a lot of bad things about the Jack Frost movies. And Jamie says, yeah, me too. I wanted to put something funny, but you never know if something serious has happened, so decided not to.
I know where he's coming from with that.
Yeah. And then, what a diva. That's you. That's his reference.
Yeah.
The Romans tell him you're docking his pay. Oh,
what pay?
I don't bloody pay. What do you expect?
He's a northern bastard. If he was going to pay me, it wouldn't be like he'd find a half-pence coin and send it in the post.
I don't pay. Byeeck. Yeah. Hey.
He pays me in pesetas. You know what I mean?
We both. Yeah. No worries. Maybe something has come up urgently.
Just me not being very well, I'm afraid.
And Cy says, I think that you're the fan of Seven. Well, I went to see it on the IMAX on Friday night. It was glorious on the big screen. I'm sure it was. Yeah.
I mentioned last week. up until this new 4K came out, I had the deluxe Criterion Laserdisc version, where they silver backed the negative film, so that when light shines on the negative, the silver reflects back, and so black is black. I can only imagine what it's like on IMAX. IMAX is a medium where it's double the size of each frame as it goes through the projector. You can imagine how big.
Yeah.
And Seven being a very, very dark film.
Yeah.
Just how much detail will be picked up with a IMAX restoration.
Yeah.
There was no IMAX when Seven came out, as far as I know. IMAX wasn't a word that people said, "Oh, go and watch it in IMAX format," you know.
Yeah.
Because I mean, we're talking, 90s. It's just a great film.
So they've done a big restoration.
I've already turned around and said what a production uptick there is from Alien 3, which I still, I still think is a great film. It's just that Seven is like astronomically on a different tier, than Alien. It's just a great David. It's a good David Fincher film. So glad you enjoyed it, Si. I hope you went with some friends. I hope your friends enjoyed it.
Then we've got Jamie saying Stephen, he's laughing, and then we've got Steve's going, "Wake up, Del, you lazy sod." Oh, dear.
I deserve all of this. Don't get me wrong. No. I am feeling bad, but
it's okay. I bet it was. Bloody love that film. It's so bleak and ominous. Yeah.
Seven, yeah.
Yeah. And Tony says, "Pay? What pay?"
Yeah, exactly.
There you are. Stephen Moore says, "I watched a good film on Tubi today called Vampire in Venice." Oh, starring Christopher Plummer.
I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Anyone seen it? Oh, years ago. But
years ago.
It's a good film. It's a long time ago since. What a cast! What a great cast there. Wow. It's a long time ago since I've seen that. All I remember is Venice. You always remember Venice, but that's it. Can you remember anything about it?
That's what I said. I was going, have I heard of Vampire in Venice? Then when it said Christopher Plummer and Klaus Kinski, like, of course I've seen it. Bloody hell. Yeah. And then it's like when you went, just as you're talking about it, I'm going, that bloody was a long time ago. It's amazing how we keep moving forward, and yet these films, it's almost like I watched them yesterday when somebody mentioned them, and then I realized that was 30 years ago. And I just go mental then with the, oh my God, the world is just moving so fast now. I can't believe is it that many years ago that I saw that film?
I like the way Christopher Plummer started doing a lot of these kind of films. He was really good, and he's not with us now. It's quite a few years since he died, isn't it? Great. Jamie says, "I think DRL was expecting me to replace him this week with the Asian movie special guest appearance."
Well, do you know what? I think you two would be really good, because I think when you ought to create a new channel, Ian. And I think I was looking at telly this week, and I thought, as many times as I keep saying that you look like Santa, and that you look like the bird's eye fish finger man, right? I think you look closer to Father Abraham.
Oh no, not those blooming! I can't stand those.
And I think you ought to have a couple of Smurfs right in the background.
What a nightmare! The
Right,
Smurfs.
hang on a minute, and then you could have Muckman on the right hand side, and he could be what you do now, right? And you ought to change your name to Father Abraham. I've decided.
Oh Lord.
I think you probably sing like Father Abraham as well.
Yeah, I probably do. Yes.
I think you ought to bring up the words to the Smurf song, right?
No,
And
no.
start reading it out, and we'll
No.
know them. We'll know then where Father Abraham ended up. His name's called Ian Hill now, and he's from Yorkshire.
Oh Lord, no.
From Lancashire, the bastard.
Not bloody Lancashire. You don't say that to a Yorkshireman. How dare you say Lancashire?
I do it for shock.
Softies.
I do. Right. Hang on. I do it for shock value.
Yes.
I do know. It's to it is to get a rise out of you, you know.
Yeah, I know. You can't use that. Nay, lad. Hey, you should know.
I mean, the film At the Earth's Core is sort of like a film that was made yesterday to you guys up in the north.
Oh, God.
You know what I mean? You've only just got the electric. You know what I mean? The internet is something that actually happened for us about 40 years ago. To you, it was yesterday. You know what I mean?
Do you remember dial-up? I remember dial-up on internet. So
you remember dial-up because that was something that you had last week.
Yeah.
Right? We haven't had dial-up for years. Right?
I remember when I went to Dixon's and you put this disc in and you got onto you had to pay, I think it was about a penny a minute on this to get onto internet. It was really bad. Right.
I mean, like I said, my first dial-up was with AOL. You don't hear too much about
yes,
them anymore,
I remember them. Yeah.
And I mentioned in my blog that the bloke that recorded "You've Got Mail" died about 6 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's right. You did mention that. Yeah. But I remember thinking, a penny a minute, that's cheap. And then you went on and you didn't realize, and you kept, on and on for ages. And then
it took you 3 minutes to connect.
It's expensive. Bloody heck.
It took you 3 minutes to connect. It was at a time where you had to play line rental. You don't play line rental anymore. Nobody's got a bloody house phone anymore, just about.
Yeah.
And you had to pay line rental every 3 months. And you had to buy a second line, really, to have to make it work. Otherwise, you were talking on the same bloody line as your mum and your dad wanted to use. And they were shouting at the stairs, "Get off that bloody line, you bastard! We're trying to make a phone call."
It's true. That's right.
You had all this shouting up and down the stairs, because you'd be upstairs on the internet while they're downstairs. Your mum and your dad would be saying, "I want to talk to my bloody friends, How am I supposed to do that?" Oh, I pick up and you know that they've done it because they pick up the phone and all they hear is,
"Yes, right. Yeah,
you're on that bloody bastard internet again." We had all that. We had all of that. Brilliant it was. Nobody remembers US robotics modems like me. US robotics. 56K modems. Bloody hell.
And they made me laugh when they said the floppy disks. Yeah, there were those paper ones, but the ones that you had
paper ones
were not floppy.
Did you say paper ones? Paper discs.
Bloody paper. There was some I remember you put in, and they weren't the sort of plastic stuff that
they were plastic. It was 5 1/4 inches.
I don't know what they were, but I remember a video and thinking, "Oh, bloody hell!"
3 1/2 inch was hard, rigid plastic, and the floppy disks that you're talking about were 5 1/4 inch. They were around from the days of punch card paper. You know what I mean? They go back that far.
Yeah,
I used to make money in the school playground, right? Because I used to make the discs double-sided by cutting the notch out the other side. I used to have a little like a hole punch thing, that used to cut the corner out. I used to charge 50 pence in the playground for doing
you were a businessman then, already.
I was a businessman back then. As
50
soon as I
pence.
clocked out how I could do that, I said, "Do you want to make the other side so you got double the capacity of the? Give it me 50 pence, I'll do it for you." And honestly,
Hey,
I
well done.
got quite a bit of money doing that.
Yeah, I bet you did. Nice business. God, if teachers had found out at our school, they'd have all been cross. What are you doing? Taking money off other people? You're not supposed to do that. I say, oh well, it's business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Joe says, no, not seen that one, Stephen. Good cast though. Sai says, Stephen Moles, that sounds like a cracking cast. And Tony says, Stephen, no, I've heard of it. Always interested in Klaus Kinski. Never a boring performance. Was it any good?
Worth a watch.
I've booked my ticket for Wolfman this weekend. Looking forward to it. I like a werewolf film, even if it's pretty bad. So,
Yeah.
well, I hope you enjoy that one.
Well,
So
he looks like a bloody werewolf, the bastard. That's all I've got to say. Look at that beard. Look, he's half werewolf already. Look at that.
Jerry says, Klaus Kinski is brilliant. Agreed. Never a dull performance. He's captivating to watch. Wasn't he quite hard to get on with on set? I don't know. It possibly was. I don't know. Have you heard anything about that? No.
I heard that Klaus Kinski wasn't the easiest person to get on with. Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't name a film where I heard, oh yeah, he was absolutely despicable to work on this particular set. I think he's just one of those people that's very prickly. Obviously he's far, from. He was. Whenever people talk about foreign films, I don't want people to think I'm prejudiced or anything. It's just that a lot of films that come out of Hollywood, they're all English made in a specific way. He came from a very thick European type films. When he was making a more Hollywood type film, I think it was very difficult for people to understand him a little bit, maybe, and he came across as prickly. The same way that Bela Lugosi never got on really in Hollywood because he was lined up to be the next big thing in Hollywood, as a lead, but he could hardly speak English. It hindered him all the way through, and basically he turned into a parody of himself, all because he didn't really learn English ever.
No,
he wrote it. If it was written down, he'd be able to recite the lines, but he wouldn't understand what he was talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
I
think Klaus Kinski is a very intelligent person, but I think a lot of people have just found his accent really thick.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. I might be wrong. I've never read a book about him.
Cyros says, I really fancy Wolfman. Like you, I love a good werewolf film.
Hang on, read that line back. I really fancy Wolfman. I fancy people like Sigourney Weaver, Kirsten Dunst. I don't fancy Wolfman. I can tell you that much for a start. Right? You have to shave for one thing, right? You know what I mean? If they're not shaving their legs or something, you can tell them to bugger off. Right? Go off to the bathroom now, you lazy bitch. Right? Go and shave.
A wolf woman. A wolf woman, yeah.
I like a good werewolf film. I know what you mean. I was just having a laugh with your size. Right. I didn't mean to. It's just it said I really fancy Wolfman. I'm going.
Yeah.
Do you? Very interesting.
And then we've got Tony saying, Jamie, so I've heard, think he could get quite violent. Oh, God, that sounds bad. He lives. Oh, right.
By the way, just to interrupt for a moment.
Yeah.
you gave me a question about social things in film, and I mentioned They Live as being
Yeah,
probably one of
that's
my
right.
top
Yeah.
one. Did you reminisce about They Live, or was that one of the ones that you were thinking of when you were writing that question out?
Do you know, that was a good revelation to me. I never thought of They Live. I thought that was a very good choice, actually. And I don't
Oh
want to make
yeah,
it too big-headed.
with all the obey and the advertisement and the
Yeah,
fact that they have a
that's a
fight between
very
a
good
black
film
and a
to,
white man,
yeah,
and on the even on
yeah,
the construction site it says, "I'm keeping my
yeah,
head down. I don't want to lose my job because
yeah,
I'm black." I
yeah,
thought that was probably a pretty good social film.
yeah.
So
I
you
was
know, like,
thinking of films, perhaps related to alcohol, drugs,
yeah,
people's living conditions, and all that. But that was what you said was perfect. It was a good one. Yeah.
I
Uh,
actually I thought the way that you were going then, I thought you were talking about people who live in Leeds.
oh, don't dear,
Right, drugs, living in
oh,
poverty, blah blah.
dear. Yeah. You can't beat it, can you, lad? And Danny says, "Hi all, how are you all doing? I'm good. I'm doing." Sorry, that'll be.
That's
Yeah.
supposed to be doing.
Hello,
How are you doing?
Danny.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh,
And
the other thing before
yeah,
I forget,
yeah.
I didn't know this, and it was buried. But there are 3 steel books coming out, right? Of Clint Eastwood. There's Dirty Harry, Pale Rider, and Hang
Oh,
'em High, and they all were announced like yesterday or the day before.
right.
And they're all under the radar. Literally, I had to look in. I had to look in a particular group to find out, and you had to actually physically search on HMV to find it.
Right.
Right. And by the way, Dirty Harry is coming in 2 editions, one at $49.99 and one at $29.99.
Ooh.
Dirty Harry is such up there for me as a
Yeah.
film. I instantly pre-ordered the $49.99. I have no idea what the difference is because the artwork hasn't been done. It's just got
Yeah.
TBC written all over
Yeah.
everything, right? So
Yeah.
if you want to know, HMV's now got Nosferatu back on pre-order if you missed it the first time round because it sold out within an hour. And there are 3 steel books that flew right under the radar for me, and they're all Clint Eastwood, and they are some classic titles. I mean, Dirty Harry, Pale Rider, Hang 'em High. I mean, you couldn't turn around and say, wow. You know, there's a couple, all of those are bangers, as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned. So if
Yeah.
anybody's interested, just to let you know, I don't know how long it'll be before those go
Yeah.
into the sold out as a pre-order.
Yeah.
But I love Clint Eastwood.
But they're
I've got to have
4K
it.
versions, they'll be,
They're
won't
all
they?
4K.
Oh, yeah.
They're all steel books.
All right. Oh, I can't. No, yeah, I'll tell you what. I like Magnum Force as well. I love Magnum
Oh yeah,
Force.
yeah.
I'd love to have both of them. Definitely.
I like those ice lollies as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, the film. Yeah,
Yeah.
Well,
Steve,
Magnum Force. I mean, it's got David Soul. It's
it's
about
it's
time.
just a great. I love it. Crooked Cops and
It's
yeah,
about time that they brought out that film. To be
yeah.
quite
I've
honest,
got it on Blu-ray, but I'd love an update. I think of that
you
one.
know how much I like Lalo Schifrin. I mean, it's a fantastic score. He did most of the
Oh God, here we go.
Dirty Harry films.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't say Jerry Goldsmith, you
Yeah.
bastard. I said Lalo Schifrin or Lalo
Yeah.
Schifrin. It depends on how you want to pronounce it. Oh, and by the way, another film I did watch, and it was on your recommendation, was that Pope film, Conclave, or whatever it was.
Oh yeah, what did you think?
Loved it.
Oh,
And
fantastic! It was.
when I got into my car to drive home, they were all talking about it because the BAFTAs have just been released, the nominations. And
Really?
apparently it's got something like 11 nominations. That
I'm
film.
not surprised. Not surprised now. I'm looking forward to getting that. I'm going to get that when it comes out.
Oh
Definitely.
yeah, I watched it and I thought
It's a
I love
must.
this.
Yeah,
This is great.
it was, wasn't it? Fantastic.
So just to say thank you as well, for mentioning that one.
Oh, so if it's that means it'll get maybe onto Oscars then, won't it? Could be
I
coming
think
out
so.
with the film.
I
Yeah,
didn't know that it got a limited run in the cinema on the 29th of November and was on streaming service by
yeah,
January. I
yeah.
mean, just
That's
think
why
about
I
how
must
quick
have
a
got it
turnaround that is.
downloaded. Yeah, I was impressed. I
Jesus.
loved it. In fact, I put it down as my favorite film of the year, probably so far. You know, I know it's only January, but it's a good film. It probably won't be at the end, but it's definitely be on my list. That'll be
Yeah.
on my list. I can tell already.
It is a shame
Such a good
because
film.
it is a film that actually did get released in this country last year. So you can't have
Ah,
it in the 2025 list.
yeah,
But it was
yeah.
like the last day of November.
Oh,
It's like bloody
yeah,
hell. You couldn't have it any later in the year, really, could you? Other than I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, what a film!
Nosferatu was released on the 1st of January. You have
Yeah,
that as a 2025 film,
yeah, yeah,
but it's a 2024 film in America, you know. So it's like,
yeah. Well, I think that on those lists at end of the year when you're talking about favorite films, I still include Conclave because I'll say it's when I saw it. I think
I
even if
think
it's
I think forget
24.
all of this. What we're talking about, just go out there and watch it. It's a great
Yeah,
film,
it is a very good
great
film.
film.
You're gonna probably hear more about it. And I think I like John Lithgow as an actor, and it was good to see him in
Yeah.
that film. He's a good actor, John Lithgow. Right, we've got Steve's Gaming saying, Ian Dell, can you name 3 70s actors who you felt deserved a lot more fame than they had? Mine are Brian
Oh
Glover.
yeah.
Hey, Byeeck. Yep. Jeffrey Belden, Alan Cuthbertson. They are all legends, in my opinion. Oh, bloody hell, that's an hard one.
I don't know. Well, I'm going to let you go because on this one, but I will say, I've heard Brian Glover absolutely,
I
totally
love
agree
him.
with you on that.
Yeah,
Alan
I do.
Cuthbertson, absolutely agree with you that one.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Belden,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not quite sure
He
on
goes
him.
back. Jeffrey Belden is an incredible career, isn't it?
I'm trying very
Yeah.
hard right now to think what he looked like. The others, I can in my head, I go, oh yeah, Baldy Bastard,
Yeah.
Alan Cuthbertson, blah 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 blah. I'm trying to think quickly who Jeffrey Belden.
Oh, I'm trying to think of any more films or actors.
But I'll tell you that the nice thing about having a question like that is you're going to get some shocks and surprise out of depending on who you ask the question of. I'm trying to think of people.
I would have said Brian Glover is such a good one.
Brian Glover's a cracking one to
Fantastic
come out
actor.
with.
Should have had even more roles, bigger roles, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, somebody's already mentioned Catweasel as Jeffrey Pound, and I do know that.
Of course, yeah. But he goes back really. In some of these films that I've watched of the early '60s, he's the sort of actor who pops up in very small roles. I think his career is very sort of, like that.
So what I was trying to
never a
get at
big
was
sort
in
of
that
actor.
Jeffrey Bowden. I was trying to think of a
Yeah.
film. I know he's Catweasel, right? I mean that
Yeah.
Catweasel's so well known to me because what's that, a 70s show? It was very it was
That's
actually
right.
back
I
when-
loved it.
it was
Catweasel.
actually 1970, I think 69.
Yeah, I
70.
remember watching it, excited and watching that. Loved Catweasel.
And I can see now the beard, and all of the scruffiness of the character.
Yeah. It was so good. It was so original. It was just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
But every
That's
time
a real
somebody
good childhood memory of watching Catweasel. It's something you really look forward to every week. One of those things that you just loved. Oh, underrated actors.
Because you've got to really think of co-stars that should have been main stars whenever you're looking at this. Because I don't think Brian Glover was ever really a headlining star. And nor was Alan
he
Cuthbertson.
wasn't. As far as I know,
they were more fringe.
They were good
actors.
supporting actors who were, if. I don't know. trying to think of anybody. Oof.
And I'm trying to think of people's
Yeah.
names. And I must admit, there's a heck of a lot of them. Ralph, was it Ralph Bates?
Yeah, actually, I think a good. I know we see him. Well, I'm going to say Patrick Troughton, because Patrick Troughton appeared in quite a few films, and he never had big roles, did he? I mean, he's more famous. We think of The Omen, but in the '60s, he was popping up in various films. Never very big roles, but he was popping
No, he
up.
preferred sandwiches, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Patrick Troughton, and a very underrated actor, I think. Yeah.
You see, so you've stolen my thunder because that was the first one I was going to mention.
Good. That's why I got him.
Right. But that's the sort of thing I'm trying to explain is that you can have an absolute top of the range, well-known TV person, and then when you look at their film stuff, you'll realize that they did some good stuff, but they were only doing fringe stuff. He was in so much TV stuff, live dramas, theater work. You'd think to yourself, you can't get higher than Doctor Who, all of that sort of stuff. But you got to remember back then, Doctor Who was nearly on its way out. It was actually John Pertwee that brought it back from actually being stopped for cancellation. This is why a lot of the black and white stuff of Doctor Who is scrubbed. They thought, what can we sell? How can we sell a black and white product to everybody going color? So it was instantly marked as getting rid of. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's such a shame. In the same way as we're talking Patrick Troughton, can we therefore have the first Doctor as an actor that isn't really mentioned too much of his film work other than Carry On Sergeant? Most people will go, what else was he in? He was in a lot of soldier stuff. Was he in, but I don't want to concentrate on Doctor Who. I'm trying to think of actors that
I'm thinking maybe somebody like Edward Woodward. Obviously, he's famous for Wicker Man, but he's not really known in TV. Callan was quite a big. Well, it was a very big TV series. Callan wasn't it?
Yeah, and my dad picked him up as a hitchhiker.
Oh, well, they are. That's good, isn't it?
Year. And you could say the same. You could say the same about Patrick McNee.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, a person that you couldn't move without knowing him as Steed or something.
And that's it.
You look at his film career, and most people will probably say, "Well, I remember he was in a James Bond once, but I don't know what else he was in."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, really, seriously, a person like Patrick McNee is, obviously he's had film, but people will go, I can't name them off the top of my head what they were.
Yeah. Roger Delgado, he had quite an interesting film career before he got the job as the master.
Didn't he do a number of westerns? Didn't he do a number of like westerns or Spanish?
He was in Hammer. He did some Hammer stuff.
That's right.
All sorts of little roles, but
always a Satanist.
Yeah,
probably that beard. Always that beard. I think, really, isn't
it? He had the perfect look. It's funny, isn't it? He just one of those that had the look. Whoever saw him must have thought,
even though he had an illustrious career, and even though he is well known, I don't think Ron Moody was big enough.
Oh yeah, Ron Moody. Yeah,
he did Oliver and all of that, which makes him a weird choice for me to say. Should have had more. He had a very good career. It's just that I still think people only ever mention Oliver to me every time they mention.
Of course,
mention Ron Moody.
Yeah.
He was a great person that should have had more on at the cinema, if you ask me. I think he was an incredible character actor.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that all the people we're talking about had real interesting faces, like lines in their faces?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, Patrick Troughton, just look how many lines he had around his
Yeah.
from his nose to there. He's got this very distinctive lines, you know, that make up his
Yeah.
cheekbones like that. And you're just going, it's almost like, are you doing this on purpose, making these lines, you know, like so pronounced? But that was
Yeah.
his face. That was his
Yeah.
face. You're
Yeah.
talking about the poor bastard. You know, don't.
I've got somebody else who I think deserved more film recognition, but became very big in TV, which is Joan Collins. Joan Collins' career goes right
Oh,
back. She's a great actress, and she appeared in so many things. You look at her
the bitch and that.
filmography and the TV series that she was in. She was in stacks of different things. Absolutely wonderful. But it took something like Dynasty to make her sort of an international star, really.
Well, they say her career picked up when she was in Star Trek, didn't they? Where she was in the episode where
yeah, but she'd been doing a lot. You look at all these TV series that she did loads of them. Where she was guessing things like Space 1999. She'd do an episode. Like Patrick Troughton, actually.
Well,
Funny,
in the same way, Brian Blessed, you could actually turn around and say about
Brian
that.
Blessed. He's another one, isn't he? Yeah. That's
we love them because they were in our childhood TV watching.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, like a lot of people go, What do you mean Benny Hill was in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang or something, right? You're going, yeah. He did do stuff on film. Sid James wasn't always a comedian. He was a heavy when he first came over here. He was in gangster films, you know.
He was in also James. Yeah.
But we're diversing off of the project.
I hope we've given you some ideas. We have done, haven't we? Various people. Yeah. Right. Then we've got Sai saying, Danny Jukes, hi matey. Del was in bed with his mum massaging his feet. What?
I don't know where that statement comes from.
That's Jamie says.
You pull my socks off, and I tell you what, my mum would not be massaging my feet. She was saying, "You stinky bastard, go and wash those now."
Danny Duke says, "Cy Robson, hi mate." Seymour's Ian Hill, the Ramblings. Hey lad, get a quilt wrapped round you. I've got my dressing gown on, so I'm all right. It's not quite.
I thought that was a suit.
Coming cold.
But I thought that was a suit down Carnaby Street. I thought you were trying to be sophisticated, but sophisticated for the north.
Sophisticated northern look, eh? Yeah. We became.
I thought, where's the Star Trek T-shirt, you bastard?
Good old Kate Bush. I love Kate Bush. Oh, Kate Bush. What a genius. Anyhow, that's another story. Tony Hawk says, Steve, Alan Cuthbertson was great as the twitching colonel in Fawlty Towers. A great character actor, of course. Yeah. Brilliant. Jamie says, that sounded too incestuous. Let's rephrase it. While his mum was messaging his feet. Oh, dear me. Steve Gary at Toyota. Yeah, I was a huge fan of his. He was great in everything he was in. And then Signs having a laugh there. And then Danny says Band of Brothers. Yeah, we popped that up earlier, didn't we? Band of Brothers. Yeah. Wow, that's a bargain for the Pacific Delboy. It's good, but not as good as Band of Brothers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Band of Brothers is one of those ones that sort of like is God status now. I remember when it came out, I thought the packaging was good for the first Band of Brothers, but then it came out in a sort of like a tin set. It wasn't a steel book; it was a tin set.
Yes,
It was like having a lunch tin.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I've got that on Blu-ray,
Yeah.
but I couldn't remember whether I had the Pacific. I just thought to myself, "Look, I've got a quid in my pocket. I'm
You
not
might as
sure if
well.
I've actually got that.
Yeah, yeah,
I'll get it,
yeah,
and I'll just take it back to the charity shop the next week if I've got it
yeah,
on Blu-ray."
yeah,
It's so difficult for me because I can't have things on shelves. I really love the fact that you guys, like Muckman and yourself, Ian,
yeah.
can look at your shelves and go, "Oh,
Yeah, I
look,
love looking at my shelves, yeah, in other room.
mine's in
Yeah.
crates."
Yeah, it's not the same.
I don't even know what's in the middle of
Yeah,
every single crate I've got.
yeah. I'm not very good at one of the thing I love looking on my shelves is I didn't know I had that. Oh, I've got that, and I've seen years ago. I'm thinking, oh, that's good. I really should get them better
I've scanned about.
linked.
I would say I've scanned about half of my films,
Yeah,
right? And I've shared my films with so many people,
yeah,
but a lot of people don't even bother looking, right?
yeah,
I think the beauty of the of the relationship you've got with Tony
yeah,
and all of that sort of stuff is he still has to take a gamble on whether you've got something or not, because
yeah,
you used to start off, I think, in one of your many videos, which I love, by the way, Ian.
yeah.
You used to do a series where, let's see what's on shelf 6, shall we?
Oh
And
yeah, I
you
did
used to
that.
go,
Oh, that's years ago.
oh, this,
Years
this,
ago,
this,
that.
this.
It's a
He'd have to
long
go
time
through.
ago.
He'd have to go back to every single one of those to find out what you've got, what you haven't
Yeah,
got, right?
yeah,
Even
yeah,
so, if somebody has turned around and said, "Well, we don't know what you've got,"
yeah.
my answer to that is, you don't know what anybody's got, really, because
No,
you'd have to
it's
be a
true.
mathematician to write it all down.
Yeah,
Everything is
I don't.
everything is a gamble.
Yeah, it's. I
Everything is
haven't.
a
I
gamble.
have seen people mix DVDs in with Blu-rays, but I haven't done it like that. All my Blu-rays and 4Ks are all together in alphabetical order. But my DVDs are not. They're all over the place.
But
But I
I
don't
just
mind. In a way, it's quite. I don't. You see, I don't mind collecting DVDs still.
yeah. But I just want to
I
say this.
enjoy 'em.
Look,
Yeah,
we all look after each other.
yeah.
I don't feel jealous. It's a persona for me to turn around
I know it is. Yeah, it's
and
all
have a
right.
go at
Yeah,
Tony for sending you
yeah,
yet another bloody package,
yeah,
right? I'm not fishing for anything. It's just a joke, right?
yeah. I
And
know.
it's a
Don't worry.
running gag.
Yeah,
It's a running gag. The one thing I like about everybody in here is everybody's looking out for each other, right?
yeah,
If Steve's Gaming turned around and said to everybody in here, "I'm really looking for this film. Can anybody help me?" I'm telling you now, people like Muckman Movies, Cy Robson, Tony York, we'd
yeah,
be we'd be scrambling over ourselves to find out where he
yeah,
lives, and we'd be sending
yeah,
them a copy within 2
yeah,
days,
yeah,
because that's how we are. We want people to be happy and get and have something that they desperately want.
yeah.
That's what I love about
Yes,
the
yeah,
people that we
yeah,
have on a Wednesday, is
yeah,
that every single one of the people in here are like that. There isn't one
yeah.
that isn't.
And we all enjoy. We just enjoy doing what we do, and that's great. Everybody
I mean,
supports each other.
I
Yeah,
mean, I mean, every single one is like that. Apart from, and I was just, you see, you stopped me mid sentence. Apart from Tony York, who's a selfish bastard who exclusively only sends films to people like yourself, Ian, who couldn't give a nut's ass, right, about anybody else other than you. And that's because he gets his name in lights, the bastard.
Oh, poor Tony. Poor Tony. Oh dear.
Moving on.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Tony. You always get the jokes from Delboy. He loves you, really. He does.
I love
Yeah.
Tony York, really.
And size of laughter.
Look, the only reason I told him make him an admin so he could have a spanner next to his name, because he's a right spanner.
Oh dear. Wee Bob Out says, I picked up 9 Blu-ray discs in the charity shop for £3. That's good. The girl behind the desk said the volunteer had priced them wrong. I said, how much should they be? She said, no idea. I felt guilty.
Do you know what Jim Jam said?
It's carried on here. To be fair, I made a donation to the same charity at a funeral I'd attended the day before, so my guilt was lessened.
I wouldn't feel guilty. No, I'd turn around and say, "Why haven't you got the right prices on them?"
Yeah.
It seems that's never happened to me, and I've never felt guilt tripped. If that ever happened to me, I'd turn around and say, "Well, how much do you want for them, then, dear? Because I'd like to take them away now." I wouldn't feel bad about it. It's just that it seems like that's happening an awful lot. Jim Jam's mentioned it. You've now mentioned it.
Yeah.
I've never had that happen to me. Not once. I went into the store today and they're trying to get rid of them, it would seem. It was almost like every disc, look, just take them away from us. You can have them for 50 pence. I don't know what's going on.
The British Heart Foundation have been guilty, I think. And somebody else mentioned them. It could have been Jamie. Jim Jam Movies. Because when I went in there, some of their prices, I'm sure somebody's been looking on eBay, and they look on eBay and see what the prices are, and then they put them up. I don't like that, but I can understand why they're doing it. But it just seems, I don't know. I don't think it's right.
Well, believe it or not, that Pacific was from the British Heart Foundation. Just so you know.
Well, yours were all right. It's the one. Mind you, I haven't been for ages. When I go out next, I'll be going there.
Just so you know. Yeah. And the reason I'm a big supporter of theirs is because obviously I had a heart attack.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
So it's the first one I go into. Yeah. The other one's the Salvation Army. We got one of them.
Yeah.
And I forgot what the other one is. There's free charity shops in Vista. I went in all free today. And like I said, the only thing I bought was that.
Well, that's pretty good.
And last week I bought the Betty Davis.
Yeah, that's right.
It's amazing. Every time I go into the what are they called now? Yeah, the British Heart Foundation.
Yeah,
they've always got box sets, and there's always one season missing. They had Lewis in there today, right?
That's no good, is it?
It said the TV series Lewis. It said seasons 1, 3, 4, 5.
Oh,
now going, what bastard took the second one out?
Yeah.
Now you got all these others, and not one. No bugger's going to buy them now because it's like, oh no, I've got everything but season 2.
Yeah.
Right.
But
it's like that with me. It's like, if that had all 7, I'd have probably bought those.
Yeah.
They're all from when they do box sets, they're usually £3. Right. I've noticed this. They usually price them at £3 or £4 for a box set.
Yeah.
£1 for a disc. Right. Where was I going to go with this? Yeah. So these were all £1. So you could buy all 7. There was 7 seasons of this, bar one season not there. You could have them all for £7.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, £7. That's
brilliant.
That's a pub meal with a pint thrown in.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or 7 seasons of 2,000 hours worth of Lewis or something, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying I would have bought it. I'm just letting you know that they do this. They've got,
they've got
Merlin there, Merlin and Robin Hood and all of this,
I don't see why people were getting cross that people were going in charity shops and paying whatever it is and then finding out they're worth something and then trading them in or getting money for them. There's nothing wrong in that at all. I don't see anything wrong in it. They paid the charity, and it's just that they've got something. And
when I was buying the Pacific, she said, "Have you seen this?" And I said, "Yeah, a long time ago, my love." I said I couldn't remember if I had it on Blu-ray. I'm just buying it, just to let you know. You're probably having it back next week because I'll probably find out I've got it on DVD already. I'm big on buying something from you and then bringing it back the next week so that you can sell it again, because this is a great this to me is like my Blockbusters. It's almost like I'm renting it and giving it you back to sell.
That's a good way of putting it.
Because that's what I tend to do. And she said that's very nice of you, and believe it or not, you're not the first person to actually have said that.
Makes sense.
I just want the charities to get the money. I'm not into trying to take something from them and then make a profit so I can do something with it. And I'm not saying that anybody does that. I'm just saying that there has been indications from other people that that's what people do. They go to the charity stores, they then go to another store, get a £7 credit, and then buy something else with it. I have no opinion on people doing that, but I know also that the charity has got their money. They had the choice of putting it out there for £7.
That's right.
As far as I'm concerned, nobody is diddling anybody.
And they're happy with it.
Look at car boot sales. Does anybody turn around and say, you're diddling all the people that are at car boot sales, you're buying stuff off of them, then you're taking it down to cash converters and making a £30 profit? They had the chance to take it to a cash converter before taking it to a car boot sale. What the hell's all this about? I don't understand the argument.
No.
Don't understand the argument, to be quite honest.
No.
It's a dog eat dog world out there. The one thing is, I would never diddle a charity store.
No.
I'd never diddle a charity store.
No, of course
if they turned around to me and said, sorry, we've mispriced this and it should be £3, I'd probably turn around and go, I'll give you the £3 then.
Yeah.
Because I'm not bothered it's another £2 they want out of me.
Yeah.
If they said, it should be £15, I'd have gone, oh, well, stuff you then.
Yeah, you would. Exactly.
I buy it from Amazon at that price.
Yeah.
But usually they're just fishing for an extra 50 pence or £1.
Yeah.
I give them 10 pence for a plastic bag.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah. And a lot of people probably say keep the change as well.
Yeah.
If they're giving cash,
I remember who I am. I don't give a shit. I'm just go, here you go.
Just say, keep the change. Yeah. Right. And we've got Tony saying, Steve, 3 prolific character actors that spring to mind for me. Oh, yeah. Michael Ripper, Hammer Films pops over. Victor Madden and Sam Kidd. Oh, yeah, Sam Kidd.
Sam Kidd, yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, I swear his ears, right, must have been flapping like mad, but Jim Jam's just come in. Right, we mention him. He's like the bloke in Mr. Ben or something. He just pops up. And it's like, what? He's the bloke who's the fit. He fits you up in all the costumes of Mr. Ben. He just pops up and goes, and as if by magic, the man turns up in his garb saying, "What costume do you want to wear today?"
Oh dear.
Well done. Hello, Jim Jam, you miserable bastard. Right.
Yeah. And Jamie says, should have given her £9. All right. Fair enough, Bob. What did you pick up from the charity shop, Bob? And Steve Game says, Tony, great pick, especially Sam
Kidd. That's the one that stuck out for me when you mentioned those 3 films. Sam Kidd.
Tony used to watch Jerry Springer when it was on Channel 4. What crazy characters he got on made Jeremy Kyle look boring.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. Tony says, Steve, he was so prolific too. Quite often small roles. Someone credited that's Sam Kidd, I think. Yeah. Sorry, at Muckman Movies, I listen and play a game called Project Zomboid when I was on this live. Got distracted. I bought about 40 across various charity shops and CEX. Yeah, of course, I forget that. I'm not a gamer, but you can pick up a lot of games, can't you, at charity shops?
Oh, Christ, yeah.
Places, yeah. She's nice. Yeah. Then it's going like that. Ooh. We Bobba, Spider-Man 3, Die Hard 2, Monster House, which me and my family love, and many more. All right.
Yeah, that's what he bought. I mean, Spider-Man's everywhere in the charity shops.
Yeah.
I look along the shelves, and I tell you what, the commonality is every single one of them has got Spider-Man there.
Yeah.
I will look. I don't know whether it's just because my eyes are attracted to the word Spider-Man or something. I'm just going.
I look at the CD collections, and
the other one is the other one is the King's Speech.
Oh yeah, that pops
up. How many times have I looked down the spine and has got the King's Speech again? Jesus Christ! What is it about the King's Speech?
I'd like to say, why is it? Well, I know why, because the crap. But why is it when I look in CDs, it's always take blooming that and Robbie blooming Williams.
Yeah.
Well, and there's I know, and that's what I'll just get my rant in, and that is one film I won't be going to see. That blooming Robbie Williams. I know a lot of people don't mind Robbie Williams and think he's great, and the idea with his chimp face, crikey. What next? I'm not a fan of all of that music, but anyway, but the idea now, we'll put a chimp face and it'll be all edgy and all different, and it's all Robbie Williams. Fantastic, boring, right. Monster House is good fun, to be honest.
It is.
Yeah,
it's not mentioned. It's not mentioned an awful lot either.
Yeah. Wee Bob Out said, I did also get the Indiana Jones Crystal Skull. I think that is what it's called, which I've never seen. I know that gets slated, doesn't it?
It does, because it's all that stupid nonsense of hiding inside a smeg freezer when a nuclear bomb goes off and all this.
I've never seen it. I've never,
right?
Yeah.
But it's got its moments, and it's not bad at all. It's just you've got to see past all the nonsense. We never thought of the first film as being a nonsense film, you know. But he's having a fight while a plane is going round in a circle and nearly chops someone's bloody heads off. He's running around and there's a bloke flashing his sword around. He just pulls out a gun and kills him with a gun.
Yeah,
that's all nonsense, right? It's all about what we really wanted as kids. We wanted to know more about what the Ark was, the Ark of the Covenant. Why is it that in these films they find an island that we've never even heard of to open these bloody things up? Right? It's like, how many more stranded little islands are there, right? Because I'll tell you what, I thought the Earth had been scanned and we know exactly where all land masses are, right? And every time I'm watching these films, they've always got on a secret remote island. I'm going, what? How many more secret remote islands can you bloody find? Right? And they suddenly, as the water suddenly come back, suddenly sort of like gone back, and this new landmass has appeared or something. Right? What is all this? I thought that we were buried. We were being buried in water, not water receding, so that you got more land. But every single thing was on a secret remote island. There's a secret evil organization planning to take down the world.
Yeah, the villains. Yeah.
Right. And I'm just going, just for God's sake, populate every bloody island, and these evil doers wouldn't be able to bloody open and find another lair to actually attack us from. Just stick a flag on it saying owner of Britain or something, right? Then they can't have a secret lair there anymore, can they? Because it's like, what the bloody hell is all this about? Anyway, that's my rant out of the way.
Good rant.
I'm just turning around and saying it is a trope, though, isn't it? On a secret remote island, the evil Baron Zucker or something, right, is planning the downfall of the world. And I'm going, how can you downfall from the world from an island that's got no electricity on it? Right, where's the plug for the electricity, right, on this secret remote island? They've always got a nuclear power plant underneath it, and I'm going, How can you hide a nuclear power plant on this island? Right? It's nonsense. Where's all this coming from?
Sai says that is a documentary. I highly recommend. It's called "Tell Me Who I Am." Go into knowing as little as possible. It will blow your mind. Oh,
is that on Netflix or
Tell
something?
me
So you
who
haven't
I
said.
am.
I mean, is that a Netflix? Is it on at the cinema? I
Wait
haven't
a minute,
heard
here
of
we
it.
are.
Tell me
I
who
think
I am.
it's
Oh,
on
it's on
Netflix.
Netflix.
Yeah. Tell
Read
me who I
read
am.
my mind. Look. So there you
go. Weebabout sounds interesting at Cy Robson. I did enjoy, for want of a better word, the Ted Bundy interview tapes. I think it
Yeah,
was
they were
Netflix.
on Netflix. I saw that on advertised as one of the top 10 UK shows to watch just before Christmas, I think it was.
Right.
I saw those. Yeah. Good.
And he said, Cy says, Weebabout, I really enjoyed the Bundy tapes. I love serial killer documentaries. Yeah,
so much is talked about Ted Bundy. It's amazing, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not so much the others, but I think every single one of them has had their light at some point. You know, the Boston Strangler and all of those sort of things.
Yeah.
As I said, if everybody is talking about Seven at the moment, don't ever forget about the film Copycat. Go and watch Copycat. Copycat deserves your attention. Deserves your attention. It's not as good, but you will have fun.
Yeah.
You won't be coming away from it thinking that was shit.
Yeah.
It's a good film.
And Jamie says there's a terrible Tarzan sequence with Shia LaBeouf swinging through the trees in Crystal Skull.
There is some terrible sequences in it, but it's just what I'm trying to say is it's all in fun.
Yeah.
All in fun. I like that though. Shia LaBeouf Bourguignon.
Mind you, what was the last one? That really got slagged off. They said it was worse than these. The very last one he did.
Yeah, it's that clock one, isn't it? It's got the Dial of
Nobody liked it. CGI, they said, was bad.
Dial of Destiny, I think it is.
And everybody said it seemed to say it was a terrible film.
Yeah, but they were selling that. They were saying that one's terrible for the same reasons, but this time it was also including Harrison Ford's just too old now.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, they were saying that he was old in The Crystal Skull, but if you imagine it was 10 years later, they went and did the Dial of Destiny, and it's like you've got this 80-year-old running around with a whip. I think, and he says, I'm open to do another one. I'm not surprised. I don't know how many million you get every time.
He must have made a fortune. Yeah. I bet he is, because he can't.
You must be thinking, one more film and I'll retire.
He can't get any work out. Isn't he in, is he in Captain America film? Isn't he?
That's right, yeah.
Coming up. So he's still making a bit of money, isn't he?
He's still kicking about. He's got a reputation as well as not
awkward,
being awkward. Yeah, but it's just a persona. I mean, a lot of people I've listened listened to say he just does that for interviews. Even the interviewee is actually in on the gag.
I get you. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's not like that, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you hear the other side of the coin. He is. Right, bastard. I don't, and then it makes you think, who do I believe?
Yeah.
I look at it like this. I'm never going to meet him. I don't know.
Yeah.
I just like him in his films.
I think they must get fed up of the same questions, and he probably has had the question asked over and over and over again.
The first question an interviewee is going to turn around and say is, you've got this reputation as being a miserable bastard. Are you really a miserable bastard? Well, what's his answer going to be? That I am a miserable bastard, actually. So
get on with your questions.
Get on with your questions.
I'm just here to promote the film. I'm not here to talk about Star Wars or anything else.
Yeah.
That's the way to be blunt, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
really do. I really do want to talk about an affair I had 30, 40 years ago with Carrie Fisher. Yeah. What I've come here for. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, and here's my book, The Miserable, The
Yeah,
Miserable
that's what some
Bastard
are
by
like.
The Miserable Bastard by Harrison Ford. You
Yeah,
can read all about why I'm a miserable bastard in here.
yeah,
So just go
exactly.
out and buy it.
Yeah. And then we've got Steve's Gaming. Del, Astrometrica is really fun to watch you play, but you need to die more in it, you sod.
I played the game last night, right? Because I wanted to try and exhaust myself before I went to bed. And I mentioned Steve in it because I was flying through space in this game, and I said, I can hear Steve now turning around saying, "Die, you bastard! Die! We want to be entertained. We don't want this flying around nonsense, with everything looking all wonderful. We want to see it turn around and say, you died."
Oh yeah.
just so you can laugh and go, "You stupid son.
Yeah.
You hit that asteroid a bit hard, didn't you? That killed you." So yeah, we have a little running joke, me and Steve.
Right. Oh, now this brings back some memories.
Zig and Zag.
I loved Zig and Zag on the Big Breakfast. Yeah, I remember them. They used to make me laugh. They did a skit thing where one of them was pregnant. I'm pregnant. One of them kept proclaiming. I was much younger then.
I remember Zig and Zag. I was never a big fan of
I
was never a big fan of the Big Breakfast.
I just remember them on.
They had earrings, didn't they? They looked like sock toys with big earrings.
Sock things. Sock.
Didn't they?
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah.
They just argued at each other.
Yeah, yeah. Jamie says, I thought the Don't Fuck with Cats documentary on Netflix absolutely captivating. It's about a serial killer. Oh.
If I remember rightly, that started off as a video showing some bloke torturing a cat.
Oh.
And then the hunt for finding who did the video or something. I don't know if that's true.
I think I might have heard of that.
With cats. It turned out to be a worldwide hunt for this bastard who was torturing this cat or something. I don't know if that's right.
I think it rings a bell.
A long time ago.
Saying. No, I think that rings a bell. I've never seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
When he said it's about a serial killer, this was more about a person that tortured a cat.
Yeah.
Like as if it was like some sort of like Arabian, a torture movie or something. It was very badly done. It looked like it was a camera was stuck in the corner of a room somewhere while you watch this guy doing something or something. It was I think it was in 2 parts as well. It was on Netflix. I remember that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Si says, there you are. I'd love to see a Kenny Everett documentary.
Yeah. It's a shame there isn't a dedicated one. I'm just saying that I think there's a lot of them that Channel 5 have done, BBC have done. If you put them all together, you'll know so much about the man, but not enough. And this is where I'm saying sometimes you want to do a good. I dare say there probably is one. Me saying now, there isn't one.
Yeah.
Somebody will prove me wrong and say there is.
Oh,
But it's just every time I see the word Kenny Everett and they're mentioned, I get a fuzzy feeling. He was brilliant.
Si says, I swear to God that my mate's brother-in-law looks like Luca from You Don't Fuck with Cats. He was pestered for weeks by people thinking that he was the guy in it. Oh, blooming heck. That is and James says, unlucky, yes. At work, this at work today, we got onto the subject of religion, which led to a discussion about Mr. Bean trying to open sweeties in church. Oh, I'm not seeing that one.
This is random at best, isn't it? I mean, bloody hell. How do we turn from serial killers to going into the
Mr.
church
Bean.
and then Mr. Bean and opening sweets?
I bet that is hilarious. I can
I mean,
imagine.
talk about seven degrees of separation. Like, how do you get from Harrison Ford to the Queen?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've gone from serial killers, cats, and Mr. Bean and sweets.
Oh.
It'll be deep fried corned beef next.
Yeah. Oh yeah, corned beef. Yeah. Anyhow, yeah. It's funny. Just saying Mr. Bean, it just makes me smile.
Did you see that picture in homage to you in Discord?
No.
Oh, they did a picture of. They said, "Here's a picture of Ian Hill, the Ramblings' new sandwich." Right, it was 2 pieces of bread. Somebody had took a tin of corned beef out, right, from the tin, and put it in between it, and says, "I like thick cut corned beef, but that's taking the piss."
It sounds good. I like it. I love it.
I thought it was brilliant. It was literally, it was like that, a whole tin with 2 pieces of bread like that.
Oh dear. Oh. Oh dear. We're brilliant. I like it. And then, do you remember the toilet-shaped spaceship in which Kenny Everett flew in a cartoon?
Yeah, it's Captain Kremen.
Ah, yes, that's right.
With Carla with the big boobs. Do you remember Carla?
Oh,
do you remember
yeah.
Carla?
Oh, yes, I do. Yeah. Jamie says, crack on. Ian needs to get through is what I watched this week. Yet, belated happy birthday, oops, from Wee Bob Art to Delboy.
Yeah, I like this. Get on with it, you bastard. Oh, by the way, happy birthday. Thanks.
Yeah. Happy 60th birthday, Del. I'm glad the candles didn't burn the house down.
No, but I did have to blow the candles out in the garage because that's where the fire alarm is.
Yeah. You don't look a day over 60
to protect all my films and everything in there, you see. So we've got a fire alarm in there.
Yeah, all those films, all those blooming steel books, blooming heck.
Where all the security cameras are.
Yeah. And then we've got Steve's giving laughing.
He can laugh. He's 70, the cheeky bastard.
Yeah. Moral of the tale is don't stream, Ian. No, well, I don't stream. These are all downloads that I find. I'm not paying. Bloody hell, me paying? But I'm not paying for bloody streaming. What do you think I am? But my neck. Cyril said, a horror that I'm interested in is the monkey. Yeah, I know everybody's now. It's story by Stephen King, produced by James Wan, of course, and directed by Os Perkins. The trailer looks pretty impressive. Yeah.
I've heard so much about this monkey.
Yeah. Kieran Culkin won the Golden Globe for Best Supporting Actor at this year's ceremony. I'm looking forward to seeing A Real Pain. Did he? Oh, wow. I'm not surprised. That's that film I mentioned, A Real Pain. I'm not surprised, though. His performance is fantastic. Highly recommended that. Yeah. A Real Pain. Brilliant. I didn't think much of Alien Romulus. I went to the cinema to see it. On second watch, it has grown on my massively, and now I think it is a great movie. Yeah, I can see that.
There's two ways of looking at Alien Romulus. There's the first one where people went to see it at the cinema, and because there was no one in there, it was great.
Yeah.
And then there's those that went to the cinema, saw it with a load of people in there, and they went, don't know what the hell everybody's going on about.
Yeah.
And then they bought it and they watched it in solitude at home, and they liked it a lot better.
Yeah.
And then there's the argument of, do you like it because it was the fact that you watched it by yourself alone, or is it the fact that it works better at watching it at home,
Interesting.
etc., etc.?
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen all of these discussions, and I find those discussions so much better than the, oh, by the way, there was a lot of fan service in it and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, I didn't bother with that. Didn't bother me.
I saw Alien Romulus at the cinema. There was 5 people in the cinema when I saw it. I loved it.
Yeah. Why not? Yeah.
I then
saw
it.
Why. Yeah.
I then saw it digitally after I saw a lot of reviews where people were equally praising it as well as equally bad mouthing it.
Yeah.
And I went, do you know what? I can see both sides of the story.
Yeah.
And then it's all been risen again in regards to end of year what I've watched.
Yeah.
And in equal measure, I've seen it in the worst of 24, and in equal measure, I've seen it in the best of 24.
I've seen it in the worst of 24 as well. That's interesting.
I went to, and I still stick with the same answer. I'm so glad it didn't suck, but it could have been better.
Yeah.
And that's how that's how I put that film.
Yeah. I feel I'm happy with it. And that's all right. I know that it's part for me. I just, as I say, I find all those films enjoyable, even the bad ones. And this is better than the worst one. This is better than the worst Alien films, which is probably, is it Alien Resurrection? Though even that one I don't mind as much. But I enjoyed it. I think it's what I said. It's just the characters, I think, that just let it down.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
That to me is like Alien Resurrection. It's the character. You had such a cast in that, and they were all. They were all, I think, dial-in performances.
Yeah,
couldn't give a shit.
Yeah, and you as a viewer didn't care. That's why I thought the black guy who played the android, I thought he was really good. He looked like he was actually into the role and really enjoying playing the role. And I think it showed. I think you're right. That's true. The others, it looked like it's another job for us. It's a job. Let's just do it. Yeah. He looked like he was really into the role.
I put Alien Romulus as being not at the top of tier, and I wouldn't put it at the bottom of the tier. No, it was one of those ones where it was one of those ones where I was doing a Hail Mary and saying at least it didn't suck.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, and I think that's all that counts. For me,
I bought it. I bought it, but then many people will turn around and say, "Yeah, but you buy everything, you miserable bastard." I don't buy everything, but it would have been bought anyway because it's Alien. But
yeah. I mean, I would agree. I already had my mind up because I think, well, I like the series, and I'm gonna, no matter how bad it is, I'm gonna like some things in it, and I did, And it was nice on this Blu-ray that there was an interview. I was watching the interview with Ridley Scott. I mean, what better thing? And he seems happy with it. What he was doing it, and if he's happy with it, then I'm happy with it.
He probably didn't know. He probably didn't know he was being interviewed. He's what, 92 now, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. Is he? Is he 92?
No, he's in his 80s.
Is it? Well, no, he did. I must. No, when I say that, I mean that with great respect. He did look pretty old, but his brain was still,
That's what I mean.
Well.
As much as everybody seems to be on the let's kick Ridley Scott in the stomach routine, because they did it for Waterloo, they did it for Alien Romulus. They sort of kick like Gladiator to. It's like, oh, Ridley Scott, is kick him in the butt, kick him up the arse. Right? He's got more money than sense. He doesn't know what he's doing anymore. Blah, blah,
he
blah,
was
blah,
sharp.
Blah.
Still,
I tell you what. I look at those films, even and I still love them.
Yeah. He what impressed me is that he clearly was pleased with the film. He was pleased with it, that it turned out a good film. And the director, then I think the director was really happy because he was like approving the director, and that made me think, good, that's good. I don't understand any hate or anything
Like I
would
said,
cover that.
he's in his 80s and he still cares about his profession.
Yeah.
He's not coasting, is what I'm trying to say. He's
Yeah.
lost his brother in the last 10 years.
Oh, yeah. That was
Right?
sad, wasn't it?
Tony Scott.
He took his own life as well,
So he
didn't he?
took his own life, jumped off
Yeah.
of a bridge in Los Angeles or whatever
Yeah.
it was, and still has got a passion for films, continues to this day doing films behind the scenes as well as still directing.
Yeah.
And he's in his 80s.
Yeah. That's passion. That's real passion.
My mum doesn't know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And is younger than Ridley Scott.
Yeah. Anyhow, that was how I felt about that film.
And again,
I was really happy with it.
The bad side of it is he filmed too many films around Leeds. He's a right northern bastard.
Oh, anyhow,
he did the original Hovis advert. Bastard.
Yeah, he's watched it 3 or 4 times now as Wee Bob Art. So yeah, I can't wait to watch it again. I'm going to watch it again.
I've watched it 3 times. I've watched it digitally in my steelbook and at the cinema. I've watched it 3 times.
Yeah, and it's good. It is good. Delboy, The Duelist was Ridley Scott's feature-length debut.
There we go.
Carradine and Keitel. The Last Duel isn't a remake. It's set much earlier era, with a different narrative.
Yeah. What I was trying to say was, you don't see Ridley Scott going back to the well many times. I didn't try to say that it was a remake, and I'm sorry if I used that word. I probably said sequel or something like that. What I was trying to get at was, it's well known that Ridley Scott used to make adverts, like the Hovis advert, right?
That's right, yeah.
He then went into cinema and he did the film The Duelists, which didn't do very well.
No.
But 2 years later, he's on a project, Alien, and suddenly he's in the stratosphere. It's almost a bit like Steven Spielberg and Jaws.
Yeah. Yes.
Steven Spielberg directed Columbo films, the Columbo TV series.
Yeah.
Did The Duel, which was about
a TV movie. That was a TV
right, which is a TV movie, right?
Yeah.
Then did Jaws and went, what?
Yeah.
Right. All I'm saying is, there are similarities in so many things that if you write them down, you go, that's eerie.
Yeah.
Because how can you not turn around and say, that film Steven Spielberg done there was crap or whatever it was? Of course it wasn't. And if you look at the Duelists, I look at that film and I don't find that boring at all. It's really good. I like the Duelists.
No.
I purposely spent a lot of time trying to find the tape version of the Duelists. I couldn't find it.
What do you think of Barry Lyndon? I love it.
Oh yeah,
historical film, absolutely fantastic film, beautiful film. Well, I rate that one very highly, really highly. Barry Lyndon. Anyhow, Steve's Gaming. It'll be midnight before they start on the comments. Get ready for a long night, guys and girls. Aha!
I like what Cy Robson's just put. He said he based the industrial look of Blade Runner on the 70s Middlesbrough, right?
Gee.
Where we all know it's supposed to look right industrial and murky and everything. I actually made a joke in one of my blogs saying, if you look at the introduction of Blade Runner, I swear blind you can see Ian Hill, the Rambling's house, right? In the bottom left-hand corner, you can see it because there's smoke coming out the chimney, right? With all these flames, right? Right. That's his house down there. He lives down there. Look.
Oh, on a serious note, that scene blew my mind. I went to the cinema to see it when it.
It's all practical effect.
I went, my, you just go, oh. Wow, what a film! I knew straight away.
It's all cranked down slow
Ah,
motion effects over
what a
a
film!
practical
Yeah,
effect.
wow, what an introduction to a film. You knew, as soon as I saw that, I thought, hey, I'm in for something special here. And it was an event. What
It's
a film. That's why I love Blade Runner still, all these years.
it is one of those films where I turn around and say it's the perfect marriage of visual and sound, because
Yeah.
that Vangelis music that you
Oh, yeah,
hear as
the
they
Sat
fly over,
Vangelis. Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
it's
But,
great.
oh, what a film. Anyhow, um, I know I've heard people say, oh, Blade Runner, it's a bit slow. It's not bloody slow. It's bloody good.
It's almost like every film's slow from 1979 to
Yeah, they
83.
always
Like
say
this.
slow. Yeah.
I said, you want to go and sit your ass down and watch Ben Hur? That's slow,
Yeah.
right? If you think that's slow, you might as well you might as well celebrate the birthday of Ben himself in that film, because it's a year by year recap. You'd be there the next year still watching it.
I'll tell you what was slow. That Bible film that I watched.
Yeah, that you talked
week.
about the other day. Yeah,
That was bloody slow.
half an hour in, and you swore blind you'd been watching it 6 hours.
And we probably my bedtime soon, so we'll need to watch on the catch up. Oh, sorry about that. Well,
Always a pleasure for wee Bob to be here. I tell you. Yeah.
Thank you for coming here, wee Bob. Oh, he's still not gone yet. Could do with a UK Blu-ray release of The Duelist.
Yeah.
Great film. I think Imprint released it a while back, though. Oh.
I've seen it in foreign languages as well.
Ah, right. He says he's got the DVD.
I've got the DVD of it.
Yeah. Bob, you can't go to bed now. Delboy has just got up.
Cheeky bastard. Honestly, I do feel sorry. I do feel bad about it.
It's all right to feel bad. People understand. It's all right. And then we've got Weebob. Maybe he should go to bed at a decent time. My work has been mad all week. I'm glad I only work a 4-day week. So tomorrow is the start of my weekend at 5 p.m. ish. Whoa!
I know he's only joking, but I'm just going to repeat this. It's not about going to bed at a decent time, right? What's happening is, with sleep deprivation, is that I'm doing an 8-hour. I'm waking up at 5:30 in the morning, and I can't go back to sleep, so I get up. I'm not supposed to start work till 8 o'clock. I'm logging into my laptop at 6:30, right? And I'm starting to work because there's nothing for me to do, right? I then work till 4 o'clock in the afternoon because I'm legally working 8 till 4, right? I'm a carer for my mum, so every time lunchtime comes around, I'm either going for a walk because it's physio demands that I do more exercise.
Yeah.
Or I'm looking after my mum, getting her a cup of tea, going back and forth. Are you all right, mum? I'm going into a meeting, all of this. I sit down, and for no reason whatsoever, the world goes blank and I wake up, it's 10 at night.
Yeah.
Now, that means that I've slept for 4 or so hours. And unless you catch it really well, where you've just woken up and you go, right, I'm going to go straight to bed, 20 minutes later, you're wide awake. It's like, right, I'm awake now.
Yeah.
But it's nearly 11 at night.
Yeah.
So I get into bed and I put music on or I watch TV, hoping that it will drop me to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm wide awake.
Yeah.
And I'll drop off to sleep at 2 in the morning. And then the alarm will go, and then I'll be awake at 5:30, which means that I've had 2 or 3 hours sleep. Now, what that basically means is I've had 8 hours sleep, but I've had 2 different parts of the day, 4 or so in the afternoon and 4 or so at night. And it means that I can only get so far into the day before I fall asleep. Yeah. I need to have 8 hours continuous sleep from 10 o'clock until 5:30 And until that happens, I'm in this trap where my body just basically, it's like, I'll tell you what it's like. Here's the perfect example. It's like a diabetes crash.
Yeah.
If you've ever seen anybody have a diabetes crash,
I have, yeah.
you'll know your body just shuts down. Now, that's what's happening to me. And of course, I haven't got a mother who's now coming into the room to go to the toilet anymore. She just thinks I'm not spending time with her, and she goes to bed unhappy, thinking that I don't care for her anymore. So I'm in a catch-22 because that's not the case at all.
Yeah.
I'm falling asleep. So I've started to purposely set the alarm clock every hour from 5 o'clock in the afternoon to keep me awake.
Yeah.
How many people do you know set their alarm for 5 o'clock in the afternoon, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, 7 o'clock, all the way up to 10 o'clock, just to stay awake so that they can go to bed knowing that they've stayed awake all day? Now, what happened was I moved my alarm from 7:30 to 7 o'clock for you, right? Remember, I've told you before, I've gone, oh, my alarm woke me up at 7:40. I'm all right. The alarm went off at 7, but I went back to sleep and the alarm didn't go off again till 8.
Yeah.
That's the time that you started the broadcast.
Yeah.
Well, I had to go and check my mum first.
Of course.
And then set myself up to log in. And then it's by that point, it's 20 past 8.
Yeah, that's all right. It's all right.
I could not win today.
No.
I should have left that alarm at 7:30. It's done me well up until this point. I bloody shifted it, didn't I, to 7 o'clock? Stupid me.
Yeah.
I feel bad. I'm sorry.
It'll work out in end. Things will work out. We'll be all right. Travel.
It's affecting me big time, and it upsets me because I'm upsetting other people. That's why I talk about it so much. People have mentioned it so many times in here. I feel like I've let people down, and I'm
you won't let people down.
I'm sorry.
I think people understand. It's all right. People understand. I won't say you let people down at all.
Oh, I just feel like I have. I'm sorry.
You haven't. It's all right. We understand. We know your situation, and everybody on here supports you, and can only wish you the best, and things will be okay.
Oh, that's nice. Thank you.
And we'll go to Tony. He's making a joke here. I've already nodded off twice. I dream of a 4-day week, Jamie says. Oh,
yeah.
And then Wee Bob Out says, I'm lucky, but it's why I go to bed between 9:30 and 10. Only way I can function properly. Yeah, I know. I think some people need a good 8 hours or at least sleep every night. But I think if I try and go to bed, if I went to bed early, I get up every morning at 7:45, and my body knows that. If I go to bed early, it'll refuse to go to sleep. It'll say, no, I'm not going to sleep. It's too early.
And I think that's the big problem is the fact that my body doesn't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't know. It just goes, you've got a body battery. You slept last night that gave you 35 out of 100 as a battery score. So you're not even a quarter of the way up, and basically your body just crashed and you fell asleep.
Yeah.
You're now back up to 40 again. Right? If you think about it as a battery percentage. So, of course, you can't go back to sleep now because you're not drained. You're not drained. You're not at 10% anymore. You got to wait for your body to shut off again before you get to sleep. So, of course, I'm in a perpetual two stages of going to sleep. So, I wish I could get back to a normal regime.
I wish that my mind would shut up when I go to bed. It just sometimes.
Oh, I bet people are saying, I wish that Dell had shut up.
No, but it just, and you're saying, look, shut up. I'm going to myself, shut up. Just be quiet. Just try and go to sleep. And the more you do
the comments. I do apologize. Carry on.
It is ridiculous. What
I need
was
to
I saying?
get another
I'm a
can. I
night
need to get
owl.
another drink in a minute. I'm really drying up, so
You
I'll
get,
have to
get
go
yourself,
get one.
don't worry, get yourself going. I'm a night owl. I hate mornings, but start work at 8 a.m. I have a nice lie-in at weekends due to early starts during week. I don't blame you. Have a good lie-in at weekend.
Yeah, I work 8 till 4. That's what I work, 8 till
Enjoy
4.
your weekend lie-ins. You can't beat it. Guilty as charged, Del. There we are. Um, Del, there's no way we can send you movies because we don't know what you've got. Plus, you are minted anyway because you live in the South and get paid more than us bloody Northerners.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I said, nobody knows what you've got, Ian. Well, that's a stupid statement. I'm not minted. If you want to look at my credit card bill, anybody who wants to take off the national debts trillions, right? That's what my credit card looks like at the
moment. Oh dear. And
no, seriously, I think we've all got a hobby where
I
think
course.
we're all intelligent enough to know when we need to sort of slow it down a little bit.
Weed Bob Art says, I'm pretty sure Dell's garage has a large blue and yellow sign above it. I might have my member card somewhere. Oh, yeah. Tony, Frightened City is on Studio Canal Vintage Classics Blu-ray, and right, I might well look after that because I enjoyed it so much. It just great. Jamie says, I watched Jeremiah Johnson the other night. Really good Western. In regards to similar bleak Westerns, I think I preferred, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, though. Yeah, that one is mentioned a lot.
I've seen that one.
He's Bitten. Oh, right. Knew it wouldn't take much. There's a very similar film, Ian, The Informers, 1963, with Frank Finlay. Oh, only on DVD. Frank Finlay, there's another name.
We don't hear too much of it anymore. Yeah.
It's like the Shawshank Redemption, reeling in. Oh, there you are. They're having a good laugh there.
They're all talking about me. I suppose I ought to be flattered.
Fresh Fish.
I don't get what's talking about. This was probably in context about 2 hours ago.
Tony says, Jerry, I enjoyed Jeremiah Johnson. Those wilderness US Westerns are a bit different. Have you seen The Mountain Men, 1980, with Charlton Heston and Brian Keith? Charlton Heston, anything he's in, I like. I love Charlton Heston.
I did see a Western the other day, and I can't remember what it's called, but it had, I think, Kirk Douglas in it. It was almost like he was trying to escape up a mountain.
Oh.
And these others were trying to chase after him. But at the end of the film, they got more mutual respect for him and they let him go.
Oh.
That sounds very eerily like the wilderness that he's talking about here.
Yeah.
The mountain men.
Oh.
I haven't seen those films, no.
No. No, I haven't seen The Mountain Man. Jeremiah Johnson. I've not seen that one. Talking about Shawshank Redemption and then Vaseline, this conversation is going in a bad direction. Oh God, no! Don't mention. Oh God, no.
No. Well, we talked about Vaseline because I was saying that my picture looks like I've been sort of like smeared in Vaseline.
That's right. Evening, lads. Some exciting retro game news for Mr. FPGA. SRG is working on a 3D.
Do you want me to read this out?
An amazing console that preceded Saturn PS1. I have no idea what he's talking about.
Evening, lads. Some exciting retro news for the Mister. It's an FPGA SRG is working on a 3DO core, an amazing console that preceded the Saturn PS1. The Mr. FPGA is basically a little games console. FPGA standing for Field Programmable Gate Array. It's the closest you'll get to what a piece of hardware was. So, in other words, if you wanted to play on a console that was from the 70s, the best way to experience it is on the Mister, because it's almost like they put the console you're talking about inside a box for you to play on modern hardware, right? It's almost the same, right? The reason he says about this is they're working on a 3DO core. What he's actually saying there is they're trying to keep adding more and more consoles to this device, right? Because it's all done by a core. So more and more consoles are being added, and they're saying what he's saying is they're working on a version of the 3DO now. That's a 1990s machine, but it's around about the time where CDs were doing video CDs. You could play games and then have video on it, right? So games suddenly had a video aspect to it all, called multimedia. I'm sure you'll remember these days. Ian, multimedia was mentioned, and you had these video stuff.
Yeah.
And he's just telling you there that the 3DO was a fantastic console that preceded the Saturn and the PS1. The PS1 probably being considered the benchmark machine, where most people know what was before it and what was after it. And not too much about everything before it, just what came out literally just before it. You see what I mean? The 3DO would have been one of those.
Right.
CDI Interactive would have been another one that you might have heard of with 3DO. So, yeah, that's really nice, Paul. Thanks for letting us all know, because there are a number of people in here that are interested in games as well. I've got a Mister here, right in front of me, right here.
Okay.
I'll let you wake up now, Ian.
Yeah.
I know you went to sleep. I know you went to sleep then.
Just went off to make my supper, bacon and egg on toast. Oh, lovely! Yeah, I could eat that now.
I've had nothing to eat. I've had nothing to eat because I fell asleep.
Yeah, I know. You should have had something to eat as well. Tony, not seen Mountain Men. I shall investigate. I will make you a thumbnail, no worries, but give me time to figure out what to draw. I did think the two of you look, when you are sitting side by side, like we old guys from the Muppets. Yeah, I'd love to see you do a thumbnail. That'd be great.
Well, just to let you know. I mean, let's see what have we had over the years. We've had have a look. I've had the Muppets. There we are. Look, there's one. Right, look, Delboy. Look,
I like
one
that
of the
one.
Muppets.
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah, I like
you were dressed up as Santa for that.
Yeah.
Right. What else have we had? We've had. Let's see if I can find.
How about we had another Father Christmas Santa one? I bet.
No. Hang on. Where is it? I had it up earlier on, actually. There it is. That's a classic pose. Look, you could have me there. Look, and you could have you there. Look.
Yeah. Grumpy old man.
Grumpy old man.
Yeah.
Anyway,
right. Okay.
You carry on. I'll find.
Yeah.
I'll get back to the original.
Picture. I have it on US DVD. A bit difficult to get. All right. And love you too, Del. Reverse image. Oh, that's when you'll be swearing at him and telling him also.
Because he's done that. Look, and he's like that.
I watched your pickup video, Ian, of Alien Romulus, but some bugger stole your slipcover. Oh, was this supposed to be? The slipcovers, I'll tell you, I'm not that bothered. If I get them, it's nice, but I don't lose my shit. If I don't get a slipcover, I'm not going to start. I know it's a cliche, but to me, it's the film that matters. That's what it's about. You know,
I must admit,
nice. It's nice. Yeah.
I do remember people saying that the slipcover to Alien Romulus was quite good. I think it's embossed. I think it was one of them embossed.
Yeah,
ones.
I'm sure it is, but I'm not going to worry about it. I liked it that it was a thin case. And I like that. It's good for your shelves. It means you put more on your shelf. I wish all Blu-rays were thin cased.
And yet there's so many people that would give you the exact opposite to that, saying, "You bastard! I like the bigger cases. I don't want that little shit where you can't even read the spine and can't read."
Well, you can read it. Even I can read it. Just.
Yeah, but your father Abraham, you're a superhero.
And made me hungry at Stephen Mills. Oh yeah, we all get hungry here. Wee Bob, yeah. Paul Patrick, have either of you imported any DVD Blu-rays from Australia recently? There are some amazing exclusive Australian releases of classic TV. I agree, but I can't afford it. It's expensive.
Can't afford the imprint label. That's what I wanted. The Caligula is in print. The Never-Ending Story is in print.
Yeah, I mean, look how much
they all cost like 180 quid or something.
But they are a good. I understand. If I had the money, I might well do.
Well, you laughed at me, didn't you?
Yeah.
You said you bought the Martian Chronicles from Australia, cost you 80 quid. It came over here then about 35.
Yeah, I know, and that's when I bought it. I didn't pay the Australian money. I bought it for 20 odd quid, whatever it was here. Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't know that it was going to come over here. I leapt at it and went, Jesus, I'm having that. I've been waiting for the Martian Chronicles for about 15 years.
And then they released it here. Yeah.
But you couldn't tell.
No, true. Stephen Miles, I wonder if we will get Beverly Hills Cop Axel F on Blu-ray this year. Was that one that came off one at streaming site?
Yeah, but he's mentioning that because so many films come out through Netflix, but then they don't get a physical media release because they came out from Netflix. They didn't actually make a cinema,
they don't release everything, do they?
Waterloo, we're still waiting for that on physical media, and that's on Apple. That's on Apple streaming service.
Apple streaming, I think, don't release a lot, do they?
No.
Yeah. I've ordered films from Imprint and Umbrella, of course. That's the one, Umbrella, in the last 12 months. But Imprint have released several ITC series, such as Man in a Suitcase on Blu-ray. I have a few network sets of them on Blu-ray, but mostly on DVD.
Yeah. So what's happening is I've noticed this, and I think I told Jim Jam about it. I said they're doing these deluxe box sets of Danger Man and The Persuaders and all of this sort of stuff. Right? It's almost like they took the network release that's in the cheapo spine 10 disc edition, that's in a plastic thing.
That's right.
A nice hard cardboard case to it, and I don't know, because I'm unsure whether they're actually using the transfers and the discs that were the British ones. So what you're really doing is you're buying the British one.
You're just buying a
fortune for having a cardboard outer sheet, right? Nobody's ever turned around and said, "Oh, these are different to the British ones," right? So I'm not gonna. I said I am not gonna be buying Danger Man at 150 quid.
Yeah.
Knowing that I could get the network release from somewhere for around about 40 quid.
Yeah, that's right.
Because the program, at the end of the day, the episode will still be the same that I watched all those years ago.
Yeah.
Which is more important, the content of the actual program or the actual box around?
Yeah.
And sometimes you have to then go, just like you said, it's not about the slipcover, it's about the disc. Have I got the disc? Yeah, I've got the disc now. Cheers. Thanks.
Yeah. Danny says, Daredevil TV series, number of seasons 3, number of episodes 39.
Well, did I tell you 10 episodes a season? I said there was around about 40 episodes, I think.
That's not bad, is it? Quite a chunk.
I think there was. I think they were actually. There was 13 episodes per season. That's why you got that number.
And Danny says Delboy's mum comes first. We all understand. That's true. So don't
Thank you
ever
so
think
much
we
for
don't
that.
understand. We do. Yeah. Yeah. Tony says, don't feel bad over being late, Del. I know from experience how difficult caring for a patient can be. Exactly. I know the same as well.
That's very nice of you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I thought Del said he pays me in potatoes.
Yeah, potatoes, I
Yeah.
said.
Potatoes. Byeeck. Have you
Potatoes,
seen the
Byeeck,
price
lad.
of spuds? Yeah, blooming heck. Yeah.
Byeeck,
Tell
lad.
me about it. Look at
I
chips.
can hear you talking like that now. Byeeck, lad.
Yeah.
I tried to read out your comments
I know
right in
you
my
can't
blog
say
in
Byeeck
your accent.
It
I
don't
can't
work,
do it.
does it? No, you might get there eventually. You might get there. Yeah,
I hope
price of
not.
foods have gone up ridiculous. Chips. I mean, look at the price of blooming chips now. Blooming heck. And then when you get them, there's not that many, is there? To what they used to. You used to be able to get loads of chips. Now, put too many on there for you. Blooming.
Oh yeah. Do you want salt and vinegar? It'd be an extra 30 pence. You what?
Yeah, but why has the pandemic changed the number of chips? I don't understand it. Why?
Oh, it's like
it's just a blooming
we
excuse.
don't get our spuds in England anymore. We get them from Ukraine. So basically, we've got to put the price up. I'm turning around and saying, if you want some spuds, I'll show you a couple of allotments around here. You can buy some from, right? If that'll give me a bag of chips for the normal price, I'll certainly bring in. I'll bring in a couple of £100 for you. You know
exactly. I agree. Totally.
How many farms around here in the Midlands that you can get your spuds from? What are you having to go to Sainsbury's for to fork out the, your Ukrainian ones? Bloody hell!
It's terrible, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, this is where some people have been turning around and saying we've become a nation where we're not self-contained anymore.
Yeah. I thought we had loads of market gardens.
We should be able to feed our mouths with our own English food before we start importing any food. We import so much now.
Yeah.
And that's because we export our own meat to other countries, right?
Well, what's the point in that?
I turn around and go, well, that only works if you're exporting what we've got for more money than we're importing. If we're exporting, I don't know, Welsh lamb, and we're importing lamb from other countries, the Welsh lamb we'd have to sell it at twice the cost.
Yeah, actually, lamb is
what we're importing it to make a dent.
Yeah, I've got lamb. I like lamb, but not at that price. It's too expensive, isn't it?
Oh, I like a Larry the lamb burger. Yeah. I've killed that little sod, Larry the lamb. And you heard he used to go, fucking kill him, little bastard. His little sod hated him, wanted him dead. I wanted him on my plate with applesauce.
And then we've got Stephen
shut him up. That shut him up, the little bastard.
I was watching an interview with Kane Odder talking about Seven, and he said if Brad Pitt wasn't an actor, he would make a great stuntman. Oh, well,
he did do an awful lot of that.
Yeah, that's good. Tony says there's a good giallo set in Venice with George ex-Bond Lazenby, who saw her die 1972. Yeah. And Tony Hawk, that blasphemy, kick him out here, bloody Lancashire. That's a worse swear word than CUNT. Yep, it is.
See you next Tuesday.
I know it is blasphemy. You don't use that word, Lancashire. Bloody hell!
Oh, it's not my fault. You're from Lancashire. You don't like the
word. And then Si says no electric. Oh no, I've still got to go and pee outside.
Oh bloody hell!
Oh, I'm sorry about that. Bloody heck! Yeah. Oh dear.
I hope that changes for you soon, Si.
Yeah. Awful. And then Steve Mills, I could see Ian on a farm milking his cows and chewing his straw. I be like her. Lancashire. I just picked
I wouldn't
myself
give it. I
up
wouldn't
off
give
the
up your
floor.
day
Well
job.
done. I know. What can you say? These heathens, aren't there? All these people. There's only one place, and it's Yorkshire, God's country. Everybody knows that. Cy
No,
Robson,
it's not
don't
my
kill
fault
the
you live
grass.
there. It's not my fault you live in Lancashire, is
Yeah.
it? Jesus
Don't
Christ.
kill the grass. There you are. And yeah. Tony says, I remember 1p a minute dial-up. First internet we had was a box connected to the TV. That would be about 2000, 2001. Oh yeah.
Oh, that would have been cable and wireless.
Ah.
Or what else were they commonly known as cable and wireless? In the when I was up in Manchester, I found out that the internet came through the set-top box. I said, really?
Oh.
I said, I said, I live in the Midlands, so of course we had to have a satellite dish on the side of our house.
Yeah.
We didn't have cable. Cable was something that you only got in cities, you see. So, and of course, what I didn't know is that the cable and wireless building was in Manchester, and that's where I was living. So actually, you got a really good picture, and you got really fast internet if you were in Liverpool because you were in the same place as where it was being pumped out from. You know what I mean? So yeah, I remember all of that.
Oh yeah. Oh, this is more interesting. It says, "We bought right, gents. I need to go
I've
to
been trying
bed."
to go to bed now for about half an hour.
On the note of the internet, I got my own phone line when I stayed with my parents, so I could get on the internet using FreeServe. Oh yeah, FreeServe. I remember that, which was 2p a minute. I played Rainbow Six. There you are.
Yeah.
And then Weebart says, "Night all. Good night. Enjoy listening to us on playback." Yeah.
Yeah. See you good-looking bastard. Yeah.
And then Tony says, "Good night, Bob." And it still takes me 2 days to download topless pictures of Margot Robbie. Yeah.
Yeah, they're all high definition, the bastards. Takes ages. Seeing high definition knockers, great.
God, I remember those days. It took ages to download anything. Bloody hell.
So I remember downloading every single bloody track to albums, and then the bloody cover would take longer than the bloody track to download.
Yeah, I know. Why would it just was ridiculous? Yeah.
It's like I only want a simple track listing. What's this bloody? How long is it going to take for me to download the album cover? Or because it was color and it was high definition.
I remember watching it, and it sometimes say 1 day, and you'd be going, "What?"
Yeah, per track. Like what? Yeah, it's like what you eat. Are you sending it in the post to me or what? Night, Bob. Yeah.
I was once on the toilet and ended up having a bloody power cut trying to aim in the toilet in the dark. That's skill. All right.
Yeah, not really, because what you do is you'd make sure that you hit the pan dead center first, and then you used your ears to make sure that you hadn't strayed away, do you? Because you can tell that you. Oh, look, I've moved too far to the left. I've got to go right again.
Yeah.
It's like Daredevil's sense.
He says Bush internet box, I think. Oh, right.
He was talking about the internet in a box.
Ooh.
I thought it was cable.
We had FreeServe back in the day. Yeah, internet day, of course. Internet day. We did FreeServe. That was it. It wasn't free though, was it? Bloody hell. On the set of Fitz, Colorado,
God
Kinstier was so horrible to the cast and crew. The local extras from the Brazilian rainforest offered to kill Kinski. Bloody hell, he must have really being
Ian,
obnoxious.
you just carry on for a minute. I'm just going to get my
All right.
tablets and a drink. I'll be
Yep.
about I've
No,
no
no,
longer than 5 minutes. All right.
that's all right. Don't worry. We'll carry on, even though I don't know much, but I'll carry on. Reet.
If you see a good question, just basically keep it earmarked. I'll be
Yeah.
back.
Yeah. Right. So we've got Si says it's in a documentary, right? Yeah, about him. He's a right sod. And then we've got Tony saying rewatched Centurion, directed by Dog Soldiers director, of course, Neil Marshall, tells of the disappearance of Rome's ninth Legion in Scotland. That sounds interesting. Historical. Yeah. Actually, you don't always see that much at Romans in Britain, do you? Really? That would be but that's a good film. Neil Marshall's a good director. Dog Soldiers and what have you. That'd be interesting. Tony, I really like Neil Marshall. It's a shame how the studio screwed him over with the Hellboy reboot. Oh, did he do that reboot? Oh God. Oh, that's bad. Yeah. And then Tony says, Centurion is a good watch site if you've not seen it. It does sound good. It sounds really good, that one. And Si says, I enjoyed it, Tony. And then, thumbs up on that. And then Jamie, Muckman Movies says, Neil Marshall shared a couple of my Instagram posts on his feed. I was showing off my Dog Soldiers t-shirt, and he liked and shared my review of Doomsday. Oh, that's brilliant! Isn't that brilliant? That's really good that you know that these people are actually reading Instagram posts. I think that's fantastic. That's great. I bet you were really chuffed. God, I would have been chuffed at that. That is brilliant. And your review as well. Well, you can't say better than that. That's fantastic. And then he's a decent, down to earth bloke. Obviously from the north, of course. Yeah, obviously. I mean, where else would it be? Yeah, he's a great bloke. Because Delboy don't understand that, but you know what? Southern softies, they don't understand. Yeah. he can't hear us. He's from my neck of the woods in the northeast. Oh, that's fine. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah. Oh, John Lithgow makes a good baddie. I loved him. Oh, third from the Sun. Wow. I remember watching that on all over the place. I remember watching. I loved it. I don't know where it was on. It was on TV, wasn't it? Oh, it was so silly. I love Third Rock from the Sun. It was brilliant. Yeah. Do you know? I wondered if I had a few DVDs. I had a look and I couldn't find them. I'd love to. Yeah. I wonder if it's available on DVD. It might be. Well, it might probably be expensive anyhow now, but yeah, I did love that series. It's really good and funny. It's brilliant and just so good. Fantastic. I like where the young boy was an old man, and that was just wonderful. And the way the banter and the way they were in the bodies, it was so believable. It was just hilarious. Absolutely loved it. And the way they got in these situations and how they dealt with Earth people and that. It was an absolute work of genius. I wish I'd have seen it. I don't know how many seasons it did. I may have watched about 3 seasons of it, but I loved it. That's one of my favorite comedy series.
Bag of shit.
What? Third Rock from the Sun? bloody hell, lad! It was great.
Actually, it was one of those.
I loved it.
It was one of those. It was one of those shows that I watched early on, and then William Shatner came in as the big man or something.
Oh yeah, William Shatner. I forgot about it. Yeah.
It was one of those shows that I'm glad it ended when it did because it was getting silly.
Yeah.
Silly. I do like the idea that John Lithgow was the girl.
Yeah.
Kirsten, what's her name? Kristen something. She was a supermodel or something, or a model.
Yeah. She was
the bloke.
Oh, she was the bloke. Yeah.
It was all like that. Third Rock from the Sun. It's better than calling it Earth, I thought.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. But you're probably right. It probably did get too silly.
The trouble is, a lot of people miss the fact that it's basically just a continuation of Mork and Mindy.
Yeah. I suppose you could say that. Yeah.
Because Mork was an ambassador to observe the Earthlings. These people came and were observing Earthlings, and
you
know what I mean. But it was a good show, but it got silly towards the end.
Yeah, John Lithgow is just great. I love John Lithgow. I just love him. I think he's great. Next one we were on about Catweasel, Jeffrey Bailden, of course. Yeah.
I know about Catweasel. Yeah, I just couldn't think of a film. That was
I know, and Jeffrey Bailden.
I know.
And then we've got Catweasel on DVD. Yeah. Brilliant. Was Alan Cuthbertson in Budgie with Adam Faith? Oh, Budgie. God, I remember that one. Yeah.
Oh, hang on. Budgie. That's this, isn't it?
BBC.
That's Budgie, isn't it? Catching the money.
Oh, Budgie.
Yeah, but Alan Cuthbertson that you're talking about there was the big man that he was sort of getting money for. He was trying to get out of crime and stuff.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I remember that series at the time. It's quite good.
Well, I used to get it confused with Shelley. I don't know if it's because
no, I don't like.
I don't know if it was because they're just one-word titles.
Yeah.
Shelley, Budgie, Callan.
Oh,
know what I mean?
There's a sort of a group called Budgie as well, which go back quite a few years, and we're at classic.
So what do I remember about Callan? The light that kept swinging left and right.
Yeah,
that's what I remember about it as
well. And then we've got here, Tony. The one larger role I remember, Jeffrey Bailden, is the vicar in Sky West and Crooked with Hayley Mills and Ian McShane. Must give it a rewatch. Years since I saw it. Great cast of smaller parts. All right.
Yeah.
Tony says, Si, are you thinking of the Scottish guy? I can't remember his name. I thought possibly. Ian Cuthbertson, actually.
Yeah, it's Ian Cuthbertson.
Yeah. Si Robson, that was, he said it here. Spelt Scottish way, isn't it, Ian? Yeah.
Yeah, the wrong way, yeah.
Yes. So Muckman movies, John Lithgow, Dexter. Oh, that is one of the best seasons, if not the best season. The bad guy performance.
Well, he's brilliant. He's brilliant in the Twilight Zone doing the 20,000 feet.
Yeah.
And then he did that psychological mental serial killer type thing, wasn't it? Where he is a dual personality. What's it? I forgot what it's bloody called now. You know where he's it's about split personality. I can't think what it's bloody called now. It's doing my head in.
I remember him in Dexter though. Dexter, he was in Dexter.
John Lithgow's been he's brilliant in Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Isn't he? I mean, he's the bloke who's turning around and saying, "Kill the bastard, Sylvester Stallone." We were all wishing, wish you could.
And Si says, "My bad." And Tony, I had to check. It's Ian Cuthbertson, the Scottish guy in Budgie. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Ian Cuthbertson was just superb in Budgie.
Yeah.
Steve Gary says.
He was.
That's right. He was in Supergrand too. Oh, wow. And Tony says, despite the Scottish surname, I don't remember Alan Cuthbertson using
Yeah,
a
they're all
Scottish
talking about
accent.
Ian. Yeah, we know.
Yeah. Patrick Allen in loads of films, but not very big parts. Very true. But that voice, of course, we remember the voice. Yeah, wonderful. Patrick Allen was. Patrick Allen did so many voiceover narrations, so iconic of the 60s and 70s. Yes, Tony, but they made him a secondary actor in the 60s and 70s. Didn't Patrick Allen do the voiceovers on the early Reeves and Mortimer shows? I didn't know that. He might have done.
I only watched a few Reeves and Mortimer.
Yeah.
I do remember Reeves and Mortimer from this, but I never really got into it that much.
No. He did a quite big role as a gang leader in a crime drama I saw recently, The Long Haul, 1957. Oh, right, yeah. He just pop up in these films.
Not a lot of people talk about 50s films. They talk about 40s, 30s, 60s.
Oh, Tony,
50s seems to get lost a bit.
Yeah.
Really.
I bet Tony knows quite a few 50s films, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
So, yes, think so. Charles Duncan, Tony, even in The Wild Geese, he didn't play a big part. Oh, right.
I'll tell you what the 50s was to me, a lot of science fiction films.
Yeah.
Earth versus the Flying Saucer and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? It was like the B movie science fiction capital in the 50s.
Yes, yeah. Love The Long Haul, Charles says. Charles, that's right, but they're usually memorable roles. The mark of a good actor.
It's the mark of good casting, is what I would say.
Cy Robson, I think one of his biggest roles is Never Take Sweets from a Stranger, Patrick Allen. That's a Hammer film as well, on a very sort of the title says it all. It was an amazing film.
One of those Hammer horror films that
it's not really a horror, is it? In that sense,
we know we talk about it a lot now.
Yeah.
But it was never in the box sets of Hammer. You had to buy it singularly.
Yeah. I think it's on Indicator. I'm sure.
That's where I got it from.
Yeah. And then I agree, Tony. I never take sweets to watch. Must get around to it. I'd watch it, Tony. It is a pretty amazing film for its time. Definitely the subject matter. Never Take Sweets. Watched that yesterday on YouTube. Very worrying film. Now, never mind the 50s. Yeah, it's still relevant today.
Definitely. Well, we all talk about that famous scene, don't we, where the two kids are trying to get away on a boat.
Yeah.
And there he is at the other side, and he's pulling the rope back in.
I know.
And
here we are.
All the mums and dads are wondering where the kids are.
He's here, look. Good evening, gentlemen.
I told you that. He pops up like that, Mr. Ben Fitness.
And then Tony says, my opinion on charity shop pickups is if the charity shops want more for the item, it's really their responsibility to trade them into CX or similar traders.
This is exactly what I was saying. I felt bad because Jim Jam was getting a lot of flack.
Yeah.
And I was going, people have been doing that in car boot sales for years.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a dog eat dog. And
don't forget, there's people who make a living on eBay who buy all sorts of things that, don't they? I mean, they're going to these car boot sales, paying as little as possible and charging as much as they can, and they do that as a living.
They go from town to town, city to city, and they don't care that petrol is like $1.49 a litre. Right? they still make their money. They're going left, right, and center. They're finding stuff all the time, and I'm going, geez, I wish I had them. I wish I could leave my job and make a career out of some of these.
And they put them on eBay, and they're sold pretty quickly. A lot of the stuff,
Oh, there's this one guy. Honestly, it's a car boot sale YouTube video series, right?
Yeah.
He seems to repair what is it? Little Henry Hoovers. That's it.
Yeah.
Henry Hoovers, right? He goes around every car boot sale. He buys about 5 Henry Hoovers, fixes them up, and sells them for 120 or 30 quid. I said, you want to go to my Sainsbury's? You can get them for about 70 quid. Where's this 130
I presume people must buy them, though, mustn't they?
Oh yeah, they must be the industrial ones that they sell. They sell to people that work in big skyscrapers or something, because they've all got Henry Hoovers, haven't they? These bloody things. Not one of them has got a vac. They've got a Henry Hoover, with a stupid face on it.
Yeah,
you really want to draw all over that face, kick it in. Smiling at you just because you're hoovering up, you bastard.
I like a good rant on Henry Hoover. Yeah. Jim Jam Movies and TV, and Jim Jam Movies and TV. Very happy to get Band of Gold on Network, £6 as well. Yeah, I've already got it.
You like Band of Gold?
Yeah, I've got it. Well, actually, it was my wife's, and obviously I've kept stuff in my collection, and I've got it.
See, this is where I'm really impressed with Jim Jam, because I couldn't do what he does. The reason for it is that there is stuff that I like and there's stuff that I don't want.
Yeah.
Right? There's so much stuff that he's got that I wouldn't even consider buying. I'd be going, what do you want that for? Jesus Christ. He does it because he wants everything network.
Yeah, it's part of his collection. It's what he collects.
But to me, I'd be going, I wouldn't buy bloody, that, Band of Gold. It wouldn't fit anywhere in my collection, Band of Gold. It would be, it's like, oh, I've just picked up 6 seasons of Footballers' Wives. I'd be going, why? Why? What do you want footballers' bleeding wives for? Jesus,
actually, to be fair to Band of Gold, it's not a bad series. It's looking really at prostitutes and things like that. It didn't have many series. It's only probably a couple of series.
Don't get me wrong. Back in the day when I worked for Lloyd's Bank, people would be talking about Band of Gold the next day.
Yeah,
and they were saying, "Oh, I didn't know that prostitutes insist that you don't kiss because kissing is more an emotional, romantic thing to do, and that that prostitutes insist that kissing is not allowed because they want to."
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, that's right. True.
I'm going. Well, you learned so much.
Yeah,
who knew? I don't know.
For its time, it's quite a groundbreaking series. Really, it's a lot of people.
There was a TV series that was on Sky called. I had the title in my head just like Dream Team.
Oh,
right? And it was about somebody owning a football club and all the things that went on between the players and it was all about some lottery winner that who bought the football team outright. And it has that woman who's in Coronation Street, Carla, whatever it is. She's gorgeous. She looks like Eva Green, right?
Yeah.
And I was going, I haven't thought about Dream Team in years, but that was one of those things that I used to watch. But I still think to myself, I wouldn't buy the DVDs of that either. It's just one of them things.
No, I wonder. I was thinking the same with after Doctor Who. Billy Piper did the series, didn't she? A Call Girl series.
Oh, Confessions. Confessions.
But that sold a lot.
Based on the famous book of a French prostitute, wasn't it? Diary of a Call Girl.
Out of it.
Wasn't it Diary of a Call Girl? Was it
something like that? It probably did about 3 series, maybe more. Yeah. She must have made a bit of money out of it. Yeah. She won't be bothered, would she, if it made money? Yeah.
But again, it would be a series that I wouldn't buy.
I ain't got it, but Yeah, but a lot of Doctor Who fans probably would have followed her as well and thought, "Oh yeah, I'll get
Oh,
it."
buy
Yeah,
anything that's
yeah,
remotely associated with it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim Jones says, "Hi, Danny," and then, "Oh, hello, we got through the lens." Josh, hey fellas, hello there.
He's just done something about the BAFTA announcements
Yeah.
through the lens. That's worth a watch, I should
Ah,
think.
right. Um, and Tony says, "Evening, James." Jim Jam movies and TV. Who remembers a TV series in the 90s called Chef? Well, I don't know.
Unfortunately,
There was a
yes.
lot of series.
Unfortunately, yes. And again, it's one of those ones where
Is it a comedy series?
it's Lenny Henry who's a chef in a
Oh, oh, yeah,
in a hotel type thing, and he's a bit
oh,
like Marlon. He thinks he's an international
oh,
bloody chef, and actually,
yeah,
I didn't think much to it. Again, I'd rather watch reruns of Dave Allen
yeah. So
than
it
Chef.
wasn't very. What you're saying politely is that it wasn't very funny.
I didn't think so, but this is where we had
Yeah.
this argument over Christmas where we were talking about Gavin and Stacey.
Oh, yeah. Because
Now,
some people probably found it funny, and
now,
we didn't. Yeah,
Gavin and Stacey is a wonderful comedy, right? But it's a wonderful comedy that people watched it, loved it, have got a nostalgia about it, and then looked forward to this
yeah,
Christmas where they were going to end it, right? My opinion of it is, who wants to watch this shit?
yeah,
Right?
yeah,
I never got on with the Welsh humor in it, and
yeah.
all of
Yeah,
this.
I think it's a good point. Yeah, I agree.
But I have to look at it and go, hey, some people don't like Sink or Swim with Peter Davison,
Yeah, yeah,
right? From the 80s.
yeah.
And
Oh,
so
yeah,
at the end of the day, who am I to turn around and say,
yeah,
but I'm allowed to voice my opinion? And Gavin and Stacey, to me, is one of those comedies that I think is overrated.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember Chef at all. I won't probably watch
Yeah,
on
I do.
TV. Don't really
Oh.
remember it. Jim Jam says, "Hi, Tony. Um, Deli Welly, do you have a date with when we can meet up?" There you are.
as soon as I can, it's one of those things where I've got to get my health right and all sorts of stuff. Also, I want it to be like we did last time. So look, me and Denny and all, and because Denny and you live in the same area,
Yeah,
Wolverhampton, Birmingham, that way. Why aren't you two guys meeting up more often? I mean, Christ, you you could be on a tram and be within each other for about 20
yeah.
minutes.
Mind you said he's always working, isn't he, Denny? He works a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's the other
Always
thing.
working.
But what I'm
Yeah,
trying to say is, we will be doing it, and it will be before the spring. It's a matter
yeah.
of
Well,
I've only
surely you
just got
want the weather a bit better, don't you, by then as
well.
well?
It's also I've
Yeah,
just gone back to work.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, let's face it.
it's
Do
one
you
of those
want to
things.
really?
It's one of those things where I need my health to be a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah.
I need to get that sorted. But maybe we'll do it in February.
No.
It's not going to happen in January now. There's only a week left.
Is it? Oh.
We're at the 16th. Next week it'll be in the 20s. Then we'll be in
Yeah,
February. It's
yeah,
going that quick. It's going that
yeah,
quick. 2 weeks
yeah.
ago, we were stuffing ourselves with dairy milk, bloody chocolates, and family circle biscuits. You know what I mean? Jesus Christ! Now and now we're back at work and going, ooh, when's our next holiday?
Yeah. It's that kind of time.
Sainsbury's are stocking up in bloody Easter eggs, and the world's crazy, man. The world's crazy. I don't get it. What the hell's going on?
Oh dear.
We're talking about Easter eggs, and everybody's forgotten that Valentine's Day's between there. And, you know what I mean? What's going on?
Right. Lenny Henry and Chef didn't watch it, says Tony Eisen. Tony, you picked up any networks lately? James, not that I can think of, seem to have what I want now. Terry says, last ones I can think of were some of the B movies they released under the British film label.
I'll tell you what I would buy. If they can get every, and I do mean this, every single episode of Crown Court released, I'd buy it.
Yeah.
They got to volume 8 and stopped.
Yeah.
Right? There's 1,400 episodes of Crown Court.
It's rather a lot. Yeah.
You haven't even touched year 2, and it went on for about 12 years. Right? And you stopped. Just think how pissed off you'd be when you were going, I'm waiting every couple of months for these ones to come out. And then the bloody company went bust. Bastards.
Oh, right. Yeah, he killed a guy and posted it on the web. That's that cat.
Yeah, but Muckman just turned around and said he tortured a cat and then went out and
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. I do remember it.
Wow.
The thing I remember the most was the torturing of the cat, you know.
Yeah.
It was a manhunt. They didn't even know where he was from. They tried to work out from not only the video but the digital stamp of the video to see where it was from. They wanted to know what country to start doing the search for. It was a very interesting documentary. Brilliant.
Yeah. Jamie says, my biggest bugbear about Alien Romulus was the gestation period of the alien. It literally bursts out of the Asian chick straight away, and Alien grows up to adult size far too quickly.
Yeah, I suppose it's a 90-minute film, isn't it? It's like
it's still entertaining, but got many flaws. The practical effects are a welcome return.
That's the one thing I think everybody would be agreement with, is that it doesn't use all CGI and it's got some practical effects, which is great. Yeah.
I found that the alien blood in Zero Gravity was designed to be a video game and not a film, if you get what I mean.
Yeah. You remember in Star Trek The Undiscovered Country, the Klingon blood that's floating around?
Yeah.
Think of that with the alien blood that's supposed to be like acid. You think how they could make that into a game. That's what we're talking about there. It's going, that sounds like a level where you got to not touch the alien blood, otherwise it'll eat your health and you'll be dead before you reach over the other side of the room. Yeah, it does seem like that to me.
Look at this. Ridley Scott is 87. Wow.
Oh, well, I knew he was in his 80s, but 87, Jesus Christ. And I knew he was older than my mum, and my mum's 83.
Yeah. He based the industrial look of Blade Runner on 70s Middlesbrough, Cy Robson says.
Well, you can't win them all.
David Fincher started on music videos, then went to Alien 3, then went on to 7. But it sounds like Ridley Scott with ads, then Duelist, then Alien.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, there's so many similarities. And then there's Steven Spielberg that did TV show, then a TV movie, and then Jaws. And Jewel is like Jaws, because the Jaws is the thing that is tracking you down, and the truck was the thing that was the antagonist against,
I can't believe that David Fincher disowns himself from Alien 3. I think it's a great film.
I don't know if he does anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, he probably distanced himself away now more from the Madonna videos that he did. Because when we're talking music videos, a lot of people do actually, instead of just saying music videos, they say Madonna videos, because he did a lot of Madonna
Did
videos.
he do Like a Prayer? Because that is a pretty good, that's a good one. It's a very good one. Like a Prayer.
I mean, Alien 3, we mentioned it last week. I said, look at the astronomical rise of this guy. He did Alien 3. Then he did 7, which is leaps above Alien 3. Then he did The Game.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Brilliant.
And then later on, you're going into things like Zodiac. And I mean, Christ, this guy hasn't really done too many sucker films. You know what I mean?
No.
Shit.
No.
You know what I mean? And it was like the same with it was the same with Ridley Scott to me, because, you got the Duelists, but then he did Alien. Then he did Blade Runner. And you're going all the way up to Thelma and Louise, and you're going, where's the Duff films in this? Then then I suppose there is a plateau which you reach, And to me, the plateau was 1492, because 1492 got a terrible critical
flop. Yeah,
well, it
it
wasn't a
was a
bomb. It's
pretty
just that
flop.
there was a lot of films about finding the new world, with
Yeah,
the
Columbus and all that stuff.
Columbus, right? There was
Yeah,
Carry On Columbus, there was Just Columbus, there was
yeah,
1492 Conquest of
yeah,
Paradise, right? They all came out the same year, right? It's just that it's almost like they knew Ridley Scott was making this film and they were going, right, we're going to get 2 pieces of shit out before his does. So nobody watches it. But I think that was the turning point where you said, look, his run sort of like stopped. And then you've got a number of films that you could turn around and say, well, those are sort of run-of-the-mill films. They're not those iconic Blade Runner films and Alien. And I still think of him as a very, very visual director.
I think all these well-known directors, when people start examining them, they always do pick out the weaker films, I suppose, to say that, look, they're not infallible. They do make weaker films. But it's all subjective, because a film that is considered weaker, you might think, well, I actually really love it. And I can think of my film that I always think of is with Kubrick. I think Eyes Wide Shut is absolutely brilliant. I absolutely love his last film. I read it so highly. But a lot of people were disappointed. Oh, that's his last film. Oh, it's all subjective, isn't it?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Well, I love Alien. I love Alien 3.
Yeah, Alien for me is the best. People
I'll tell you
Aliens.
What, the reason I think that David Fincher doesn't think of Alien 3 as a bad thing now is because they brought out things like a director sort of like extended bit type thing. I don't think he's turned around. I just think he, like any director, they look back at their own work and they go, "Ooh, I remember I could probably have done that better. I could have probably have done that better. Thinking about it now, I could have done that scene."
Obviously, they get critical, Jamie says, I get what you're saying about the zero gravity alien blood. It did look very fake.
Yeah, you want to look at the Klingon blood then in Undiscovered Country.
Yeah.
Right? Jesus Christ.
Blade Runner beginning is next level genius every time. Yeah. It just is. It's wonderful.
Yeah, look, honestly, it looks like the entrance to Leeds.
Yeah. Sai says he spent time during his younger years around the chemical plants of Teesside, which influenced the opening. Yeah, I can see that, those chemical plants.
He wanted an industrial look.
Yeah. By the way, guys, the film called Never Take Sweets with Patrick Allen is called Never Take Candy from a Stranger. Well,
the American,
it depends where you are.
That's the American title.
Yeah, candy, and all that stuff. Yeah. Will that be the US title, Charles? I think it was filmed in Canada.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know, guys. That's what it's called on YouTube.
It's just a name change based on where you're selling the film. That's all.
And this is true, isn't it? It's always, having checked it was filmed around Bray. Of course, it would be typical Hammer, but they set it in Canada. That's what Hammer were like. They didn't go very far. They all ran around Bray.
We'll fly everybody to America and do it. No, we won't.
You're saying we're not. No, stop that on that budget. Yeah. Yes, it's from Hammer. That's one benefit of Trump's resurrection. Stops war and price of spuds come down in price if we get them from the Ukraine. Oh yeah, God. Internet was via the BT lines, Tony. You had to unplug the phone and plug in the lead from the Bush internet box. The other lead went into the back of the TV.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear.
And cable and wireless gave you 2 lines, one for the digital signal and one for the analog signal. Your analog is where your phone line plugged in. The other one is where your internet plugged in. Oh, it was mental. But we all knew what we were doing without knowing any technical ability of it all.
Yeah.
I was the one who was turning around and saying, "Do you know what modem stands for?" And then we go, "No, I'm going to modulator, demodulator. It turns analog to digital and then back to analog so that you can." And everybody would go, "You lost me really with modem."
Yeah.
So who gives a shit? Well, I usually shut up then. I go, "All right."
Tony says, "Don't tell Del about it, Ian, but the DVD of Centurion is now going spare, so I won't tell him."
Well, you just told me, you bastard.
Good night, chaps. My bed is calling. Good night, Jamie. Thank you for joining us as always. Thank you very much.
But you can't, man. You entertain me all the time with your videos. Thanks very much for doing them. Your haul video that you did the other day, absolutely fantastic. Loved it.
Yeah. And Tony says, "Night, Jamie."
Yeah, don't forget to take your magic torch, you bastard.
Sai says, "I thought Dream Team was a documentary about Harchester United Football Club. Now you're telling me that it's fictional. Next thing you'll tell me that Santa isn't real." Oh,
he's being facetious.
I know. I can tell.
Santa is real. He's sitting there with a blue bloody cap on, the bastard.
And yet we're near the end now. Here we are.
I was talking about you with the blue cap on. You're Santa. Look, that's how you can tell he's real. Look, he's sitting there with a dressing gown on.
And he says, Charles says, "Night, night, guys. Yet another great show. Thank you, Charles, for joining
Sorry
us.
it started so late, Charles.
Yeah.
Sorry about that."
And Si says, "Nighty night, gang. Good night, Si. Thank you as always." And Tony, "Good night, all. Great entertainment. Thank you, Tony, as always, for being here. And thank you." And,
I just want to say thanks to everybody. And the other thing I want to say thanks to is thanks, Ian, for not broadcasting how great my channel is, you bastard. You usually do that about midway through.
This week. Sorry about that. And it's a bit late now.
He keeps turning around and saying, "I'm a big supporter of you," and yet he goes all the way to the end.
I forgot.
Doesn't even mention my channel, bastard.
Oh dear. Well, there's 11 people watching.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. No, we'll have it this week where where he doesn't talk about my channel.
Please subscribe to his channel if you haven't. Check it out. It's a brilliant channel, despite all these insults. And he should know that I'm going to see now. Please, I must be going to see now. I'm trying to promote his channel at the end. But there we are. It's in the comment section. Sorry about this.
It's not my fault you look like Father Abraham. Not my fault. You've even got a blue Smurf cap on.
Anyhow, thank you, everybody, once again for making this a great chat. Like, we loved it. We love it every week, and we'll be back again next week. And
yeah, not enough corned beef questions.
Yeah, no, we have some more corned beef questions. But yeah, thank you, everybody, and I'll leave you with his farewell.
Oh yeah, and it's good night from me,
and it's good night from him.
Good night. Salute. Thank you so much, everyone.
And all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.